Anyway, yeah, so we return to what is essentially the middle step between the first story arc in Germany and the second story arc in France. We're
Ooh la la.
slowly making our way across Europe because we're on tour. Dungeons and Dragons, 5th edition. Fate, Dreams End, Type Moon, etc., etc. Anise and Penelope, road trip, yay.
Pasta.
Pasta, that's Italy.
Oh, we're not there yet.
We can never spoil the third arc. Gotta save
No.
it for JoJo.
Oh no.
But yeah, so last week, after finally, getting back together with uh, Penelope's manager, she and Annis took care of some business in town where you managed to get some supplies that Annis needed for taking care of the, up until a few days ago, apparently extinct plants that you found in the Einsburn ritual chamber. And also, while you were there, you went into a bookstore where you acquired some tasteful art covers and fiction about potentially Merlin, and also some Spider-Man comic books and some interesting sort of middle of the road ritual stuff that wasn't really very useful, but it signified to you that the person running the shop likely knew a little bit more about the supernatural world, and sure enough, with some amazing perception skills, you determined that it was run by a druid who, among other things, had been helping out with her family's um, business of both running a bookstore to get information to people in the supernatural community and also as a bit of a hiding place or safe space for phantasmal species moving through the area as needed to keep them, off the radar of the church or the Mages Association or anyone else who wants to do bad things to them, which, it being Europe, could happen. Um, After a nice conversation with the woman who runs the shop, you managed to acquire from her a scroll that included a ritual for druids to gain familiars. It works a bit differently than a normal ritual for gaining a familiar because you're not summoning a spirit from another world and giving it a shape, so much as you are binding an existing phantasmal species creature to you. It's kind of a middle ground between an animal companion and a familiar, but it only works for druids, and she had no use for the thing anymore, so she handed that over. Likewise, Penelope managed to get a scroll that she doesn't know what it does. Good times. Um, that's a bit more of an arcane one, though. So you couldn't really tell what it was, but you had that. You had ice cream. It was delicious. And then following that, you headed back to the saloon. Following this, the two of you kind of split up and you went off in different directions, with Penelope going off to check in on her home back in England and get ready for hopefully performing in France. She's got her manager working on setting that up because the two of you are going to be meeting up again shortly to travel to Paris for the Arsene Lupin VII big event in a few weeks on April 1st of all days. Penelope's going to try to get in as a performer, although you both do have Kwaku's invitation as well. So that's shaping up to be pretty cool. Whereas Annis has returned to the Einsburn Castle, or at least that was her plan. I assume she's still doing that.
Yep.
And she's going to be, well, you've got plenty of plants, you've got a ritual spell to do, you've got a scroll to ask Kwaku to identify, you've got a few different things to do when you're week before, I believe the plan was 1 week later, Penelope was going to come back on the night of the full moon, and the two of you were going to summon her teacher.
You'll.
Cool. So, given all of that, I didn't remember to update the in-game calendar with the last session's events, but thankfully, pretty easy to see that the next full moon is in fact 1 week since the last session, so both of you have about 7 days before you meet up again. We're not really going to be going map heavy for this session because it's going to be a jumping around a bit and setting up for the next session, which we're planning on doing in person. So That one will probably be an interesting experience in recording all of its own. So for now, have some pretty art. Yay, art. So we'll be looking at that for a little bit. And then as things happen, we'll pick up from there. So first up, Anise, you've got 7 days. What do you want to do and in what order?
Hmm. Well, certain I want to gather seeds and take clippings and do research and make notes about all of those lovely plants. I
Okay.
would also, I suppose, need to talk to the bird friend. To, uh, oh yes, no soy. I'd want to talk to him, see if he maybe knows where he lost his mask, or figure out how to make him a new one. And there's that scroll, of course.
Okay. So let's go ahead and tackle the seed stuff first since it's pretty straightforward. It'll just be a few rolls.
Oh, and potions.
Oh, right. And
Also,
you're making potions. Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So considering you're going to be collecting seeds and getting, presumably a lot of information, recordings on all of these plants since they've not really been studied in a long period of time as far as you're aware. We can do a nature check for each of the 7 days to reflect more or less how that went.
So, roll 7 nature check.
Yep, just do 7 nature checks and we'll see how far you get. Okay. So, what are you adding to those?
+2.
+2?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
I think I'll have a higher nature, but
no, it's all good. Oh, it has the +2. It's adding it to the very end and making that 77. That's why that happened. Okay. That's funny. Um, that's cool. So we've got a 17, 7, 9, 6, 11, 20, and 19. All right. So yeah, the overall that is remarkably average. So well done. Skewing a little high, so that's good. So yeah, over the course of your week, you actually have a pretty solid time of documenting the way all of the plants were before you did anything to them. Exact states. You study them a bit. You get a feel for how they work. Like you're very scientific with this one. Like you're taking little bits of them. You're testing it. You're getting a better sense of how they might be used in potions. And through the course of studying them and working with them, you come to an understanding that a lot of these could be used for a much wider variety of potions than the ones that you've worked on before, including the one that you found for Echo, the one that she'd been sending you bits of. Now that you've got it directly rather than after it's been essentially flattened and dried out and sent through the mail, you do get a sense that you could actually make the potion that you wanted for her to stop her from aging much more effectively. The process of reversing it would take a little more time than the current week, but you think it's very possible. You're not just spitballing that. Because what it would ultimately be doing for her is, in a weird way, because she's a homunculus, her physiology doesn't really follow normal rules. So you can kind of hack it and send things back a little bit. Like, you probably wouldn't be able to overdo it and send her to like a childlike state or anything, but you could get her back to the state that her body's been in for the longest time and undo the damage that was done there by just correcting the flaw that resulted in her aging super fast and then letting her recover. So that's promising.
that's good.
Yeah, that's what the last 2 dice were. So you rolled very correctly on the order of those.
Good.
Yeah. So yeah, you'll be able to do that. But beyond that, yeah, you were able to get seeds. You've been successful at transplanting small amounts of it. You should be able to take these out, and if you can get them to your plant nursery or to some druids who are capable, it's going to take some cultivation. Like, they're not just going to grow in modern soil with no trouble because they need a lot of mana. They need to be in the right place. But even a druid with some basic ability to manipulate mana through the planet should be able to keep these things going as long as nothing externally threatens them. Like, this is within the realm of basic druid craft, just to cultivate the scenario for them. So that's positive. That's good. You should be able to find some success with that. You'll just have to decide who you want to plant sit for you while you're in France.
My plan was actually to package everything up, and then as we're leaving for France, put it in the mail and send it back to my tribe. All the seeds and clippings that I could get, and my notes about them, send them to my tribe. They'll know what to do with them.
Yeah, that should work. That shouldn't be an issue. I'm assuming your tribe has something like a P.O. box or a building equivalent, because you're not completely cut off from the world. So that shouldn't be an issue.
Certainly.
Yeah, so that won't be an issue. You'll just have to set it up and ship it out. So, like, when you leave, you can just mail it from the saloon or something.
That was
Shouldn't
the plan.
be a problem. Okay, so that's the easy one. While we're knocking out the quick and easy things, you can pretty casually get Kwaku to help you out with the scroll as well.
And I suppose I need to talk to bird friends too.
Yes. In fact, just from reading over what's entailed in the ritual before you do it. Did I lose me? Is it doing this again?
I think it cut out.
Yeah, it cut out for a bit there.
Did it come back?
I mean,
we can hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just heard ritual will entail.
Okay, well, that was very short then, at least. That's strange.
After a prolonged, awkward silence, ritual will entail, and I'm like,
what?
That's pretty ominous. Yeah. Okay, I'll rewind to just the start of that part. Yeah. Don't mess around with the fifth magic. It messes up time.
Oh no. Oh dear.
But yeah, so on the front of the ritual for this, like, you read ahead because you want to understand everything that's going to entail before you do it, just as a standard best practice. So looking ahead, you see that part of this is going to involve if you just wanted the bird, you could just do the ritual as is. If you want the bird to be in its proper state as a Nasoi, with all of its connections and abilities accordingly, it would need to have either a mask made for it, or it would need to find it. You can ask it where it's from, or you can use the information that Kwaku gave you, along with stuff from the library, now that you've got a better idea of what to look for, to essentially get Kwaku to make one. It won't take long. It's like the nice thing about the mask is that it's more of a symbolic connection. It's not like he's actually building something that's part of the creature. It's more just when the creature aligns with its myth, it works better.
Right.
So, like, you could literally make this thing out of paper mache and it would work. You just probably want something more durable than that.
I have to speak with animals first and just ask the bird itself, like, Nisoi, do you want a mask, or do you want to remain something of a normal bird that eats a lot?
Whichever. Eats a lot.
Do you remember where you lost your mask? Maybe we could look for it? If you lost it somewhere in this forest, yeah.
Long ago.
Long ago. Would you like it if I made you a mask, or had my friend Kwaku make you a mask?
Master good.
Good. Okay. I can make you a mask. Do you perhaps want it to be made out of woven plants, or leathers, or something else? Do you have a preference?
Mask is mask.
Mask is okay. And what do you want for breakfast?
The
I'm
bird
just
is now
kidding.
looking around for whatever counts as breakfast.
I'll give him some berries. Okay. I guess I would like to try making the mask before I ask Kwaku
Okay.
because I know he's busy building the golem.
Right.
So that would be. Hmm. What would that be?
For making a thing?
Yeah.
Um, let's see.
Dexterity?
I think making a thing would be first an intelligence roll to design it, and then a dexterity to actually make it.
Intelligence. Or did you say intelligence or wisdom?
It'd be intelligence for making it, or for the like designing it would be intelligence. It's not a high difficulty. Like you hit it, you're making a tiny mask, so
Yay.
that's fine. Like it for reference because you're just making a tiny little mask. You would have gotten it on like a 5. Like they're not.
Okay.
You're not trying to make a masterwork thing here. You're just making something that makes sense.
Ooh.
And you make a very nice one. What are you making it out of?
I think I'll carve it out of wood and then supplement the parts that need to move. Like have that be like some woven grass or vines, sturdy vines or something like that.
Okay, so you have a little bit of a strap to the back of it so it can be adjusted and fit properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. You can completely make that. It's actually very pretty. What kind of tree are you using for it? What kind of wood?
Ooh, I'm tempted. Would I need to roll something to figure out if I use the wood from the vampire tree, would that be bad for the bird? Because I'm tempted.
You can make an Arcana check and get an idea.
I did tell Bird Friend not to make a nest out of it.
Okay, it's a little fuzzy, but like one of the things that you have to remember is that given it's a bird that's associated with death, there's an okay chance that necrotic wood is actually probably helpful in this because like necrotic doesn't mean evil; it just means associated with death. This might not actually be a bad use case for it. Like the bird obviously didn't seem to have an issue picking it up and flying around with it. I mean, like you don't know whether or not it's a good idea, but like you have it; it's here.
That's true. Yeah, I think I will go ahead and use the necrotic wood for the wood parts at least, and then go get some non-evil, non-necrotic vines.
That's fair.
For the movable parts.
Okay. Cool. So you now have a really neat little. Well, actually, what kind of mask do you want to make for this thing? Like the one in the pictures is usually more like a plague doctor mask, but it can be anything. You don't have to make it look like that.
I think I would make it a plague doctor looking mask. That's what I had in mind.
Okay. Then yeah, you make a wooden, all natural little plague doctor mask.
And I'll use Druidcraft to make some like pretty flowers bloom on it.
Okay.
Temporarily. As I hand it over to Nosoi.
Okay, so you make some little flowers bloom out of it, and for a second there, while you're looking at them, they kind of look, oddly enough, they look like the flowers that you might see on a grave. So maybe that's the woods doing. But either way, so you're gonna put it on a little bird?
Sure. Well, I'll ask him. Be like, this is the mask I made for you. Would you like me to put it on you?
Okay, it flies over. It's a bird. It flies up and it sort of inspects it for a second, like picking away at it, making sure that if it puts it on, it can see out, and like it can. Like you built this thing well, because you crafted it so well. Not only can it easily see through it, it has a tiny little slot that opens at the bottom of it, so it can continue to eat everything in the world.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, so because it has that tiny little hinge, the bird seems to nod and just sort of sticks its head into it, but you'll have to adjust the strap.
Yay!
Okay,
I'm so gonna call this bird later.
go for it. So the good news, just telling you this outside of that, because you can kind of like as soon as you snap it into place, you can feel this yourself. You can feel a bit of the mana in the air around you, focusing a little more on the bird. And as you recall from before when you were going through the forest, when you stepped into the saber barrier and the mana got really, really light, and that made it a little thinner in the air, everything felt just a little bit less real. Well, when you put this on the bird feels a little bit more real to you. Like it's maybe actually living up a little bit better. In fact, so where are you doing this?
Probably in the castle courtyard.
Okay.
That's about right.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's fine. Do you have like all of your stuff with you?
I mean, probably not all my stuff.
But like your normal bag of things that you carry around.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna have a little bit of director influence here. So like those glasses that you got way, way back at the beginning on the train. You can see them sort of sticking out of your bag a little bit from when you sat things down and you pulled the giant mask out of it. When you put the mask on the bird and you snap it into place, it gets a little bit more red.
Oh.
Which
Fantastic.
signifies to you that now it is a more significant phantasmal species than it was before. So that's neat. And in fact, I have now updated it. Its entry, so I'm going to clear it off the combat tracker and add it more proper.
Did the bird get any bigger? Or
it's physically the same size, but when you're around it, it has a little bit more. It's hard to describe. It's like, you know how when you're looking at photos, things are in focus and out of focus?
Right.
It's slightly more in focus than it was before. It's more substantial than it was. You didn't really notice it not being very substantial before, but it feels a little more significant. The same way that you would feel when you're interacting with something that's been enchanted or something that carries a little more, like in fate terms, the concept of mystery is that there are things that are more important than other things by virtue of their level of mystery, and that's usually what determines if one thing can override another thing. And the reason magic and whatnot suck now is because science got stronger than magic and sort of took over. So on a much more local scale, you've just added a little bit of weight to this bird that prior to this would not have even really registered as a phantasmal species to you. But now it's got a little more going on. So that's neat. I get to update it from maskless to masked. And I'm just gonna.
So tempted to make my own little plague doctor mask or have Anise make her own so that they match.
I mean, you could. No, you're not evil. Why does it always assume that everything's evil when I add it to the combat tracker? That's just rude.
It's an evil bird now.
You've made it evil. This was your doing. But yeah, so now it is masked. I don't know if you can see its stats or not. Let me see. I don't think it lets you.
Once it becomes my familiar, maybe.
Once it becomes your familiar, I'm going to put an entry for it on your sheet so that you can open it whenever you want. But I don't know if it lets you see it yet. But okay, cool. So that's there. So yeah, the other things that you know from looking over the ritual in advance are that it's fairly straightforward. Like, unlike a normal familiar summoning ritual where you would summon a thing here and give it a shape and it would do what you tell it to until it poofs. In the case of this one, you're binding an actual creature, and that means you're going to have to go through a ritual where you both come up with a deal that the creature is willing to accept, and if it doesn't have one, you have to give it a name because names are important. So you'll actually get to name this bird, and that will become its name. It will become part of its identity. But that is what links it to you. So you are free to think about whatever deal you want to make with this bird and what you want to call it, and then you can do it.
Don't want to just soy. That's it.
That's, this is my cat.
Yeah.
This is my cat, dog.
Nickelodeon will sue you for that.
No.
But yeah, you don't have to do that part right now if you don't want to, but
Type the word crow in different languages.
I'm sure there's a lot.
Because it is basically a crow wearing a mask, right?
It's like a raven or a crow, yeah, like a little blackbird.
Raven.
Like, I think crow is a more accurate one, but I've seen art depicting them in different ways. Like, they appear in a number of, like, the Nasoi, like, supernatural creature is based on stuff that appears in a bunch of different regional legends. So you can kind of pull from different stuff.
I already knew the German word for crow because I watched Princess Tutu. Freiheit.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that. Ugh.
Oh. How do you actually say that? Biana?
Oh Lord.
Biana?
I don't.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, and a new Cuervo. Well, she's just a crow.
Crow.
It's up to you.
Oh.
You can name this bird whatever you like. This bird is chill.
Name it after.
Oh, that's true.
Name it after what?
A plant.
Oh.
Anyway, well, I think about this crow's name. Do you wanna go?
I mean, sure.
Penelope?
Sure. We can jump directions, so.
Okay. Oh, hold on. Adjusting. Okay, you're good.
Adjusting Penelope.
Well, I had my
Penelope is now calibrated.
Beep boop.
beep boop. Wrong penny.
Salutations.
Salutations. Oh, jeez.
That is a very different penny.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, thankfully, on Penelope's return to home, she didn't get involved in any issues. She didn't run into crazy people on the trains. She had a perfectly safe journey home. During that time, she had plenty of opportunities to actually rest because she's exhausted. Prior to all the Germany adventures, Penelope had been on tour for like more than half a year. So
She definitely passed the F out when she got home and slept for like 12 hours.
that's fair. Like your manager is not hounding you right now.
I'm gonna roll for snoring. Okay, she did not snore.
Okay. Was that supposed to be based on a skill or was it just a d20?
Just a d20.
Okay. I could see that being a constitution save because it involves breathing, but that's funnier. You worked out. All right, you didn't snore. How much of your adventure did you end up telling your manager about? Because like he's got bits and pieces from your phone call, but now's kind of your opportunity to say how much you want him to know.
I think she's gonna mention the whole bits of the Holy Grail War nonsense and like, hey, guess what? We're building a golem. But I think she'll fill him in and be like, here are the basics of what's happened.
So like, we met this guy in a train. Some people were coming to get him. We got away. We got caught up. Like my new friend Anise had a potion to deliver. It seemed safer to go with them than to deal with the people on the train. Over the course of that, we ended up fighting a giant tree, saving a castle, and now here we are.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. So I didn't know if you were going to go into it with him about your everything else that happened. Because obviously you're privy to a lot of information now that's not really publicly known. But
Yeah, it's one of those things where like if she thinks it's gonna be necessary to share with him later, she will. But
okay.
right now, it's like I don't need to burden him with all that.
Right? Yeah, because like he's aware of the supernatural world, but he's kind of your anchor to the human world. So
Yeah.
there's only so much that you really likely dump on him. Like I don't know if you shelter him or if you tell him everything. Um, Obviously, it's a dangerous world to be a part of if you're not yourself supernatural.
Like she'll tell him the shit he needs to know in order to be like to help keep her safe, but also to keep himself safe and as an exception.
Mm-hmm. So like he knows about the church, he knows about the Mage Association. Um, did you tell him about like vampires and all that other stuff existing?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's sufficiently paranoid, but probably good so.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. All right, and you asked him to, using the number that you got off of Crosby, to get in touch with. Well, actually, Crosby has your number. Crosby's the one who's making the connection. Oh, my brain.
Yeah.
So yeah, about a day in, after you've slept a lot,
Mm-hmm.
whichever number you gave Crosby for this, I don't remember if it was yours or his.
It was hers.
Okay, then Penelope gets a call.
She answers the phone.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, I don't know if we're
Do what?
said I didn't know if we were acting this out or not.
Oh, yeah, we're going to act it out.
Okay.
Hello, do I have the pleasure of speaking to Miss Penelope?
Yes. Hello.
Oh, good. Yes. You come on good recommendation from a Mr. Bone Settler, from the Mages Association. As you're aware, from what he told you, we're putting together a bit of a get together in a few weeks, and he recommended you as possible entertainment for this venue. And so I looked into you, and you've got a remarkably high profile for a phantasmal species, which personally we appreciate here. Oh, sorry, I haven't introduced myself yet. Yes, I'm calling you on behalf of Arsene Lupin VII. And as I mentioned, we're getting together, and we need entertainment for an event that's going to be host to all sorts of phantasmal species, mages, a few wild cards here and there who can't really be expected. So, are you comfortable performing under such circumstances?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Excellent, excellent. Don't worry, it will be completely safe. We don't expect anything dangerous to happen. I know that certain people on that guest list may make you uncomfortable, but your safety is our highest priority, so no concerns there. What form of payment are you interested in?
Well, cash would be nice, but also, I'm willing to do this for cheaper if I can take home some artifacts.
Oh, you would like to be involved in the game.
Tell me a little more about the game.
Oh,
If
well,
you don't mind.
do you promise to keep it a secret?
Absolutely.
Excellent, excellent. So, well, we're calling it a game, but really, here's the thing. I really shouldn't tell you. I don't know if I can. You're sure that you can keep a secret?
I mean, absolutely. I keep secrets all the time.
Okay, you can roll a persuasion. On the phone. Brave New World of D&D. Nice.
Hell yeah.
Oh well, of course. I never should have doubted you. There's no way you could survive as long as you have in the spotlight without the ability to keep secrets. So, Very well.
Exactly.
Very well. So, here's what's going to happen in the game. We've sent out invitations to everyone who has lost something of importance, directly or indirectly, that ultimately came into the possession of the Arsene Lupin estate. And as this is the final Arsene Lupin, he's not passing his legacy on to anyone else. We're letting this end. He thought it would be best to bring together everyone who has lost something to himself or his ancestors, who he has decided should be worthy of getting some of that back. Like, we have no desire to hang on to all of these items. For him, it was always the thrill of getting it far more than the actual item. But as you know, mages tend to have grudges when their things are taken, so we're looking to return them. But, well, I'm sure you're familiar with the Arsene Lupin reputation of enjoying a good show, which is part of why we would like entertainment, of course. So what the plan is to get everyone who's lost something together, and then they'll get an opportunity to get back something that was taken. Now, whether they get back their own item or someone else's is going to be part of the game.
Oh.
So, at the end of the night, everything in the Arsene estate will go to a new owner. Hopefully everyone who's participating will pursue their own item, but there won't be any strict rule requiring it. And of course, there are always extras. We have more items than we could get invitations out. So if you would be interested as part of your compensation, you could be put in the running for something.
Sure.
Excellent. It's probably going to be even more exciting if the entertainment is in on the game.
Of course.
I'm sure Master Lupin will find that hilarious, and really, I'm in the business of keeping him happy, and it sounds like this will make you happy, and if everyone's happy, then everyone's happy.
Also, I would like my hotel covered.
Oh, well, of course, we're not savages.
So, and travel, of course.
Of course, you're a professional, and so are we.
And Also, I mean, I figured that goes with the hotel. Is there any way that I could meet Mr. Lupin himself?
Oh, everyone will be meeting him at the event. Do you wish to meet him in advance?
That would be great.
I can try to set up that meeting. I can't promise it. He's a very busy man, but I will try.
Okay, cool.
I will put in the request. You'll have to arrive early, of course.
Yeah, I'll be in town. I can be in town early. That's not a problem.
Bro, is this still a good number to contact you at?
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. We'll need to exchange information to make sure that your flights and everything else are taken care of appropriately.
And actually, let me give you my manager's number as well.
Of course. Is he familiar with the nature of this event and your role in it?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. It's always best to confirm. You don't want to accidentally out someone from their supernatural world.
Oh yeah, he knows all about it. It's fine.
Excellent. Very well then. Yes, I'm glad to hear that you'll be there and that you'll be happy to perform. And of course, your participation is always appreciated.
Yeah, thank you for extending the invitation.
Oh, we definitely look forward to this. I think it's going to be a night that everyone will always remember.
Oh, one last thing.
Yes.
Can I have pyrotechnics as in the background? Is that allowed in this situation?
It's encouraged.
Okay, cool.
Just don't hurt anyone, and we're good.
Yeah, of course. All right, cool.
Very good then. So we will work out with your manager the details of all of these specifications, and of course your financial compensation as well. I suspect that's something that he handles.
Yeah, of course he does.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we're happy to have you aboard.
All right, awesome. I will see you guys in a week, I guess.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I think amount of time. No, it's 2 weeks. Shit, ignore me. 2 weeks.
We will see you on the 31st of March.
Yep.
Very good. Look forward to it.
Right. Bye.
You're trapped in that each person trying not to be the one who says goodbye last game. Yep. So with that, it gets clicked. And so when you look down at your number, or at the number of the one that called you, you see that it actually scrambles into a different number when you look at it afterwards.
Oh, weird.
Like there's some effect going on that makes it not traceable. Which is new to you because you've never actually seen anyone use Magecraft with a phone.
It's really cool and I want it.
That's fair. Awesome sauce. So yeah, so over the course of the next few days, what is Penelope doing with her time?
She's going to spend a day or two just trying to write some new music.
Okay.
Mostly chill.
That's fair. Are you writing about any topic in particular? All right. First of all, which of your instruments are you writing for? Or are you going to be doing like an ensemble piece?
I'm going to write an ode to the White Witch Saloon on the kazoo. No, I'm joking.
I mean, you could.
I could. It'd be great. No,
You have to name a song Yeehaw Chili in his honor.
maybe just yeehaw.
It's Penelope's
don't
country
know.
western debut.
Lord, no. She's very much more of a like pop person. Oh God, yeah. She's gonna write something for. She's gonna write something for the viola, but she's also gonna write just like lyrics to be later accompanied by actual music.
That's fair. Okay. I think the best thing for this would be rolling performance because we'll acknowledge that this is part of it, unless you can think of
Cool.
something better.
I mean, performance sounds good.
I think it's the most logical thing.
Yeah, performance. Hell yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be popular.
Woo!
Nice. Yeah. You feel the muse kicking in. And you're like, of course, that's what the viola does next. And then over here, maybe kazoo. No, not kazoo. Not right now. We have to save that. That's gonna be the big surprise. Okay. We're gonna get this right. 4 chords. That's popular. No, we can do better. We can do better. All right. And yeah, you sort of work it back and forth. But yeah, you're really feeling it. Like this feels right to you. You can usually tell when things are gonna go well. So you spend a few days sorting that out, and you've actually got something that you could play.
Sweet.
You'll probably want to play it a few times and a few different audiences just to get a sense of it, but you've got something that you could play. You've got your notes on it. You're feeling pretty good about it.
Sweet.
All right. Also, about a day or two into this, your manager comes back, like you've hashed out all the details. Also, he's made some connections to start converting more of that gold you brought back.
Good.
He's slowly learning his way around this part of the world, supernaturally speaking. Like he got some contacts, and he's gonna start little by little swapping your money over for you. Like he doesn't want to do it all at once because that'll be suspicious, but the flow should be pretty steady for a while. So by all means, go shopping as often as you like for a while.
Sweet.
But maybe don't go buy a boat just yet.
Damn it. There goes that plan.
Guess you have to win a Holy Grail war and wish for a boat.
No. Oh yeah, and I guess at some point over the week they have actually discussed giving him a raise.
Oh yeah, like we don't need to role play the negotiations for that part.
Roll for raise.
Roll for the monies. I mean, that would be a world of social skills.
It gets $7.
Oh dear.
Oh, the max you were
joking.
going to give was a 20?
No,
Ouch.
no. I was joking.
Take my millions of dollars worth of gold. Here's a 20 just for you, buddy.
I will raise your pay by 7 cents.
Please
Per
stop
hour?
calling
No.
it an allowance.
Here's your allowance. You may have 1 shiny penny per month.
Thank you, Miss Penelope. You're so generous.
Oh no.
But yeah, like we're not going to go into the minutia of how that works.
Yeah.
It's safe to say that you're paying him well, considering he was willing to drive to find you at a random saloon and then sleep on the lobby of that saloon for a few nights. Like, you're taking care of him.
Yay.
It's pretty good. So that's cool. Are you going to go shopping for anything while you're in civilization?
She's gonna go like stock up on, makeup stuff for her kid.
Okay. You're not going to get in the
Travel.
habit of buying grenades or anything?
No.
Okay.
Gonna I was gonna have her pick up that French dictionary from
Yeah,
her
yeah.
apartment. That's like grab that.
No problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're just doing normal, like, mundane shopping, not looking for anything weird.
Shopping, just a normal shopping night. Not gonna go shopping for anything too crazy.
Cool. That shouldn't be an issue. So, is that more or less how Penelope is spending her week?
Pretty much.
Okay. In that case, we can jump back over to Anise.
I found a name for the crow.
Hooray!
Hemlock.
That's a good name.
That's cute.
I keep looking up and seeing the gifts on the screen. Terry Crews and the pterodactyl speech.
Oh. I mean, that's fair. Okay, so yeah. So for the ritual, you can pretty much do it anywhere that's natural because it's a druidic ritual.
Mm-hmm.
So
I want to go to the rock.
Okay.
Where Berserker was. That
Okay.
seems like a good
Sure.
do a ritual.
Whoa.
If I want to be extra.
Well, I mean, it's a place that has necrotic energy, given the ghosts.
There.
So, yeah,
Shouldn't
that's.
I thought about that.
This is goth as hell.
Yep, Annis is hitting that phase. It all started with the Yowie books.
Clearly.
That's how that happens.
I have somehow I predicted this and I packed an all black outfit now.
Wearing eyeliner now.
Yep. Dyed my hair black. No.
You show up in exactly your normal outfit, but you're done in like Daria style. That's funny. Okay, but yeah, so you go back to the rock. When Kwaku hears that you're going down there, he sends Raps with you just in case.
Good.
Raps is just going to be on standby. Although, like, now that you're aware of it, like, having, like, a Nasoi with you really is keeping all the ghosts at bay. So you don't actually run into any issues. Raps is just sort of there because it's Raps.
Wolves.
Yeah.
Wolves.
Yep, wolves and other things do exist. Oddly enough, like, you do see one or two wolves as you're on your way through, but they don't seem to be bothering you right now. Maybe it's the giant dude and their previous experience with some giant dude punching the crap out of wolves a year ago. Who knows? But they don't seem to be bothering you. So, but between the golem for the living threats and the tiny little goth bird for the death threats, you have a pretty easy time getting there. And honestly, you probably needed to mess with this thing anyway, because this ley line was redirected in an off path regardless. So
Mhm.
you can go ahead and take care of it. You don't get any freaky visions this time. That's good.
Good.
It actually just does what it's supposed to. You've redirected it, no problem. And then you do the ritual for the bird. So as part of the ritual, you're going to be having a bit of a little goth seance, as is the nature of binding a necrotic species. Like, rather than the ritual being like exactly these ingredients, you had to find things that resonate with the creature. And so you really do get a bunch of things that make sense. Some of them you actually took out of the ritual room upstairs because it seems to cover a bunch of different kinds of magic or magecraft materials. So you get some of the more necrotic focused ones up there. You take a little bit of the extra tree and you burn some of that to get the thing started. So, with your like hundreds and hundreds of pounds of necrotic tree, it's not too hard to find some.
Right.
So you get that burning, and then you start going through the ritual. As you're going through it, an interesting thing happens. So, like, when you start the fire, you see the smoke coming up, you see the little sparks and everything like that. You see the fire reflecting, on everything around you in like its little flickering way. While the fire is burning, you can actually see ghosts sort of floating around you. They're not getting closer, but you can see them. Like, they're kind of floating around. These aren't the ghosts like the Einsburn things that you saw before. These look more like the people that died upstairs. The ones from the village who were wiped out 1,100 years ago. They're sort of floating around kind of aimlessly, but you can see them now.
Oh, okay.
They're not getting closer, but they are around.
The ones that were sacrificed,
Yes.
specifically?
Yeah, the ones who were sacrificed. So, like, they're still apparently bound to the area because they had plenty of unfinished business when this wiped out all of them. But regardless, they're floating around. They don't seem to be noticing you, but you can just see them in the light from the burning wood. So that's kind of cool. And this is before you've started the ritual proper, so maybe this is a property of the wood. So that's neat.
Yeah, that's good to know.
It's like some kind of undead torch. So cool. As you're going through the ritual itself, you make the proper offerings through the different materials that you're tossing into the fire each step of the way. You come to the part where you have to speak to the bird. We're going to assume you cast Speak with Animals. Just because you knew you were going to have to do this. So you have to make it an offer.
I will keep you fed and keep your mana full as part of the bargain. Is that fair?
Food is good.
I will make sure you get to try all of the different varieties of food in all of the places we will end up going.
It's wearing its little mask now, and you see it nodding fervently like a puppet up and down.
Aw.
And it sort of replies back at you. I will keep you safe from what you can't see.
Well, good.
And from there, you can kind of get a sense that the bond is starting to form. So now you need to solidify it by giving it a name.
And if this is acceptable, no soy bird friend, I would like to give you the name Hemlock.
Hemlock is pleased.
It's a plant of death, but can be used for many different things other than just poison.
And it feels right to you. You can feel a certain resonance with the bird. The smoke.
Also,
oh, good.
Oh, Hemlock and Anise are also like kind of in the same family, just like different branches of the same family.
Nice.
Yeah.
The resonance really does kick in. Then you can feel it. In fact, as you throw the last item of resonance into the smoke or into the fire, the smoke sort of billows up and surrounds the two of you, forming almost like a link in the air. Like there's a small connection going between you. Like the smoke's not going in your mouth and your lungs or anything, but it is sort of connecting something that almost looks like a string or a rope going between the two of you. And once it touches both you and the bird, you can very, very slightly feel a second like pump next to your own heart. It's going a little bit faster than yours, presumably because the bird is smaller than you. But you can feel it. Like you can actually feel the bird. And when you do that, you can hear what the bird is thinking, even though it's not speaking at you with the speak with animals. You can understand it, like permanently. You get a sense that this is a real connection that will last. And so I'm going to see if this will work. So let's Going to identify this for you so that you can hopefully see it. Learning how these things work. So let's... Did that pop up for you?
Yeah.
Nice. So you should be able to see everything that he can do. So can you see all of its abilities and everything?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So the way that
It has 1 HP.
well, you're going to have to figure out a way to deal with that, although it does have a built-in ability to help with that. Yeah, so the abilities that your bird has include, unfortunately, still having 1 HP because it's still a physical bird, and birds don't get a lot of HP. But it has the ability to turn itself invisible whenever it wants. Because it's copied after the invisible spell, it says up to 1 hour, but I'm going to edit that later. Like, it just can be invisible when it wants to be invisible. And it has an ability where it can sing a song, and all of the living and the dead creatures around it who hear that song have to make a will saving throw, or they'll be charmed by it. And this is a special kind of charm that does work on undead. It does work on spirits. It does work on familiars, like things that are normally immune to it. This will work on those. And while they're charmed, they will pay attention to it. It doesn't work on things that are expressly immune to being charmed, but it does work on those types that are normally immune. And it can do this for 1d4 rounds a day. It refreshes on a long rest. So... and that's something that you can ask it to do. None of these take your actions.
Oh, cool.
This is something that you can ask it to do that with a bonus action and it will do it. Otherwise, it's going to figure it out on its own. You don't have to direct it. It's there. I need to give you the entry for how familiars work. Just because that's tied to the spell and you don't have the spell, so I will drop that in for you. You still technically also have the normal ability as a druid to spend your druidic shape-changing power to get a temporary familiar out of an animal as well, which is something they added in Tasha's guide.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if that's in your sheet or not because we made your sheet before Tasha came out, but...
So that's in addition to Hemlock, I can get another...
Yeah, this is your weird exception because you can't normally have 2, but you got these through different methods. So... you technically can have 2. Just keep in mind that your wild shape, it's called Wild Companion, I think.
Yeah.
So that actually has an entry to Find Familiar. So yeah, you can do that. Because that one's only around for a few hours, I'm not letting it preclude you having your permanent one.
Yeah, I don't see it in my actions.
It should be under features on your ability list. It should be Wild Companion, parentheses, option.
Belch. Preparation mode now. Which gives me, like, everything.
Oh. Yeah, it would be on the abilities tab where your feats and your traits and stuff are.
Abilities. I heard you say abilities, and I'm like, oh, actions, clearly.
Which is admittedly fair.
Wild Companion. Option. I see.
Yeah, so like those are temporary. This one's real, but conversely, this one's a living creature. So like, if he dies,
yeah,
then
Hemlock is actual like meat.
Right.
But like the one that I would summon from the Wild Companion is a fake.
Okay. Yeah, the one you would summon with Wild Companion is a fake creature, and if it dies, you can just make another one later. Like, you could make another one of the same type. You could make one of a different type. Nothing is really dying. Whereas if Hemlock dies, your bird is dead. So Hemlock is going to, by default, be keeping away.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be more a matter of floats around, maybe scouts a little bit. Because you can communicate. So should be neat. As you'll note from the list, like while your familiar is within 100 feet of you, you can communicate with it telepathically. As an action, you can see through your familiar's eyes and hear what it hears until the start of your next turn. Though during that time, you're not aware of anything going on for you. I'll make a separate entry that cuts out all the normal find familiar stuff just to cut the rest. Because obviously you can't like dismiss your bird and then reform it later. You don't really have those. But turning invisible should help a lot.
Okay, so I can do the seeing through its eyes and senses thing with the Wild Companion or with Hemlock?
Both.
Oh.
Well, one at a time, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you have that ability through Hemlock as well as your familiar.
And I'm confirming that this is how it works because there's a character in Campaign 2 Critical Role that has a Fey familiar, and essentially he goes blind and deaf and can see through that familiar's eyes. So that's how it would work here too?
Yep, exactly. You have no awareness of your own environment. You're blind and deaf for the purposes of your character.
Looks like we'll have
Anise.
to hold hands, Penelope.
You'll have to what?
Yeah, closer to the mic.
We're holding hands.
I'm shaking her hand. Okay. Neat.
All right. I will add an entry to your list for pulling up Hemlock stats whenever. I think you can also pull them up through the combat tracker now that I've identified Hemlock, but if not...
I've also dragged him down to be in the
Oh, good. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we're on a map, you should be able to move Hemlock as well. I'm going to give you control of that NPC. And if Hemlock ever gets a picture that's not this generic bird one, we will swap it out. So...
Stop staring at me.
Still very tempted to make a matching mask for Anise. Like
you
a
could.
plague doctor.
You absolutely could. You've got time. You've got an artifact friend. Or an artificer friend. You've got a lot of creepy haunted wood.
If I wanted it to give me any sort of abilities or bonuses or whatnot, I'd give it to him, to Kwaku, but I think I would probably make it.
If you just want one that's cool looking, then you can make that yourself. Just scale up the one that your bird has.
I mean, that was the plan.
Yeah. But okay, yeah, you've got a familiar now. So cool.
Yay!
Now you can feed him all the time, like you were before. But now that he's connected to you, he can actually survive outside of this place. So that's good. Because he would not have lasted too long outside of the bounded field. But you've given him an anchor. In your own weird way, this is the first master-servant relationship you've had in this campaign.
Yeah, that's true.
You're right.
The bird is a berserker. Oh no!
The only other thing I wanted to tackle were potions, but I need to use the restroom real quick. So
that is fine.
Penelope needed to do anything else? That would be a good time.
Oh God.
Otherwise,
It's like the shopping episode. Well, I mean, you're gonna go back once you've sorted that stuff out,
Yeah.
right?
Huh?
Like you're gonna head back to the saloon because I think you were meeting up at the castle, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. She calls her parents. I don't even know if they have a phone.
It's up to you to decide. They're
Um,
nomadic, but obviously Penelope figured out phones, and there's a decent chance you've at least given them a flip phone.
She gives them a flip phone and is just like, "Don't lose this. I'm paying for your phone contract."
Okay, did Penelope explain charging phones to them?
She made an attempt.
Okay.
An attempt was made.
That's fair. I mean, your parents aren't stupid, so like they would have a hard time filling out a contract normally because of all the, human information that they expect. But
Yeah.
you've got the connections to fake human. So
Yep.
okay, then yeah, you can absolutely call and check in with them. Like what are you telling your parents about your life, by the way?
Oh God. Like they know that she's a singer and like they know she's a famous musician.
Yeah.
She probably doesn't like give them the minutia of like, oh hey, I went to a castle and fought an evil tree and blah
Right.
blah 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 blah.
Do her parents know that she even knows how to fight? Because like they probably assumed like just from childhood, basic level of like, and if you're in trouble, stabbity stab.
Yeah, I mean they would have they know
Okay.
they, but it's one of those things where it's like the less she tells them, the better, I guess.
That's fair. They know that she's famous and that no one's messing with her.
Exactly.
That is fair.
Yeah.
Now, are her parents still nomadic?
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't just like buy them a townhouse or anything. Like they're still wandering the land.
She's offered, and they're just like, "Nah, we're good."
That's admittedly true. Like that's a lot of how the halflings roll in
Yeah.
Type Moon Europe.
Hey.
Settling down anywhere is how you get in trouble. So they're kind of weirded out by the fact that you actually have your own place. But
She's like, if it makes you guys feel any better, I'm not there 90% of the time.
that's actually how they rationalize this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're still
Okay.
nomadic. You just have a place where you store stuff. That makes sense. That we can understand.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, in that case, if you don't have any other shopping you want to do, we can send you back to the saloon and then the castle.
Yeah, let's go back to the saloon.
The saloon is where you store your "Don't Make Me Go Crazy as I Walk to the Castle" robe.
She'll bring Gunter a present. I don't know.
What does she want to bring Gunter?
Okay. Have you ever seen those like little tin boxes that look like a London bus?
I think so.
She brings him one of those filled with cookies.
I'm sure he'll be fascinated by that.
He'll be delighted.
Are you wearing your hat?
Yes.
He is super happy.
Yay!
He's a simple cowboy man, but he is a happy cowboy man.
Yay!
Okay, then yeah, you don't have much trouble. Like you, actually, you're meeting Anise at the castle, right?
I assumed.
Okay, so is it just you that's going?
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, you get to roll a survival check to see if you remember the way there.
Oh, goody.
You do.
Hooray!
You remember, like, admittedly, the way that the whole area is laid out, it's you can see the castle. So, yeah, you don't have too much trouble. Like, you make your way through the not as snowy and not as scary tree part, so that's good. You're venturing through you don't really encounter any wolves or anything to give you any trouble. So that's nice. And then yeah, you do successfully make your way to the castle without getting too lost.
Yay! Just knocks on the front door.
The front
Like,
door is still
"Hello?"
broken. I don't think anyone ever fixed it.
Kicks in the door.
Kicks in the giant door.
Yeah.
Roll strength, but it's not going to be hard. Use that halfling strength. You successfully push the door in enough that a halfling can fit through it.
Go through the door.
Awesome. Is Annis back?
Not yet.
Okay. So yeah, you kick in the door. I'm not going to pull up the castle map just for this. But you get inside, and so the first thing that you notice is that where there was once a giant tree, it's not really there anymore. Like, you'd seen it shrinking before you left, but it's been a week. And between rats knocking big chunks out of it and it shriveling up, there's a small, like, stump where the tree was before, but the big tree is gone. Also, you've noticed that where before there were, like, remnants of defeated Einsburn homunculi and plant monsters, that's all gone. Apparently something has been cleaning up in your absence. Even all the stuff outside the castle, with, like, all the big dead trees and the wolves, they've all been tidied up.
Ooh.
So that's nice.
Yay.
So it's a little better off. They haven't fixed the door yet, but at least someone's been doing house cleaning.
Sweet.
And at about this point, you notice that giant golem that you used to fight the tree. You see it walking around doing landscaping. It would seem that someone's given it new directive to clean up.
I'm imagining it wearing like a little gardener's hat and an apron. I know it's not, but it's just a funny mental image.
That would probably be up to Annis,
Oh, gee.
because it was given direction to clean up this mess from, like, you can surmise the only person that it listens to is probably Echo, who probably told it to clean up the mess. And it's doing that to the best of its ability. So that's always nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't have much trouble. You can get inside. There's a big old castle to explore, technically.
True.
Are you heading to anywhere in particular in it? Because it's not like you can just call Annis.
Hey guys. I guess she'll start walking. Oh God, I guess towards the library.
Okay.
I don't know why the library, but that's
I mean,
what popped into my head.
That
so
seems
that's
to
what
be
I'm
where
doing.
the group of you gather the most.
Yeah, like a bunch of nerds.
I mean, checks out. Okay, so yeah, you make your way through the main entrance. Like, you go up the stairs on the left, you go past the big tree stump. As you're going past the big tree stump, you do see off to the side the giant stacked rows of dead necrotic tree. It seems
Okay.
Raps has got plenty to get through the winter if needed.
Yeah.
Hooray. So that's off to the side. You head inside. The inside is not as cleaned up yet as the outside. It's still got, some dust everywhere because it's been a little while since anyone's cleaned up from all the damage that the tree did to it. It's about the way you remember it. You then get to the stairs. You start the ascent for the stairs. That's always fun. One thing that you notice about the time you get to the second floor, or I guess you start on the second, about the third floor, one up from where you came in, is you're seeing more of the little spiders spread throughout.
Yeah.
The spiders and their spider webs. It seems that in the week you've been gone, Kwaku has been setting up a bit more of a surveillance network.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. But yeah, as you make your way up, you get to the library, and the door to the library is in fact open. So someone's in there.
Right. I'm gonna walk in the library.
Okay. As you step in, all of the dust and whatnot just disappears off of you, as it tends to
Yay!
do. And you find Kwaku digging through some, well, I'd say digging through some books, but really it's just repeatedly holding up the one magic book thing to different books in the room and thumbing through. He seems to be distracted and doesn't notice you walking in.
He's gonna sneak up and like get as close as possible before she's like, "Hello."
Ah! Oh, welcome back. Ah! How have you been?
I chilled all week. It was nice.
Oh, that does sound nice. Yes. I've been going over the plan. Well, he takes a look around to make sure that Echo's not here. And so I've been going over the plans, and I think I can make this work. I think that
Oh,
the plan to make the smaller golem is going to work out. And so I also think that I'll be able to get through all of this without her noticing, because Echo has gone back to her cabin for the moment.
oh,
I think she's more comfortable there. So it's really just been Anise and I and the golems for the last day or so.
oh, okay.
I presume she's taking stock of, well, the entire area, since having so many bounded fields interfered with is problematic. So,
Yeah.
that said, I'm kind of tempted to go upstairs and start opening some of those homunculus vats just to see what they want. Because they're sort of on, from what I could tell, it looks like they're on standby and just waiting for programming,
Mm-hmm.
which creates an entire world of ambiguous ethics.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Like, I assume they'll just be like that until the golem gives them new directions, because Echo's not going to do it.
Right.
But I don't know that that's necessarily the best thing for them.
Yeah. Ugh.
She's got
I
the
mean,
she's got the big golem downstairs doing landscaping, which, sure, that's a good idea, I
I know.
suppose.
Oh,
Oh, right. Annis gave this to me for you. And he pulls out, well, he sort of gestures over towards the corner where the scroll tube is leaning,
oh,
the one
cool.
that you got before. It's interesting that you found that. You said it was a
Yeah, what is
bookstore?
it? Yeah.
I might need to drop by there sometime, because that's a fascinating find. You don't normally find working scrolls in bookstores.
Yeah, it's a good bookstore. Um, God, I think it was called Full Moon Books or something like that. It was in
Interesting.
town.
I'll have to check it out.
I mean, and it's safe for phantasmals, so
Truly a
they're
rarity in this world.
yeah, really. Yeah, were you able to figure out what it was?
Yes, I did actually. I think it's something that you might find useful and kind of fitting given where you're going next. Is it in your inventory or is it in the party sheet?
Uh,
It's gonna go identify it for you.
I'm back, by the way. Sorry that took so long.
You're fine.
it's in the party sheet. It's still an elegant scroll.
Okay. What is it now?
Whoa, hello. Scroll of Knock.
Oh.
I think you might find that useful given you're about to visit, well, a celebrated criminal.
Ooh. What? Okay, I'm looking over it.
You can drag it back to your sheet now.
Ah.
Knock is a really good spell.
Love it. Where'd he go? And boom. Alright.
Nice.
I have stolen the scroll.
You did it.
Ugh.
But yeah, so knock is it's a useful arcane spell, so it is on your list. You can cast it just by reading it, and then the scroll will disappear. But yeah, what it does is it unlocks something.
Oh, that's cool.
It does make a loud noise. You have to keep that in mind.
Oh no.
It literally sounds like a huge knock, and then it just opens it.
Oh.
Stacy had my other character.
Yeah.
Cool.
So like just to give you the examples that are written in here, the object it opens can be a door, a box, a chest, a set of manacles, a padlock, or anything else with a mundane or magical lock. It won't necessarily work on things that are resistant to knock, but for pretty much anything in the mundane world, you can expect it to work. But it'll only unlock one thing. So if someone's got like 10 locks on their door, well, that's why mages have 10 locks on their door. Now you know. Use up those spell slots. But yes, it is pretty loud.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, the descriptor specifically is when you cast a spell, a loud knock audible from as far away as 300 feet emanates from the object.
Oh no.
But it has a range of 60 feet. You don't have to be next to the thing that you're using it on, so keep that in mind.
Good to know.
Cool.
Well, thank you for figuring that out for me.
No problem. Honestly, I kind of appreciate the prevalence of scrolls in use because, well, they tend to burn up and disappear when they're used, so finding any of them is fascinating, and we found quite a few lately.
Yeah. Like, I've got another one in my bag here, too. It's like, oh god, comprehend languages?
Yeah, that was the one that you found in the library, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we found a lot of those.
Well, I guess make sure they're worth it when you burn through them. There are wizards out there that would love to put them in their spell books and are probably having a hard time finding such things, but, well, that's the wizard life.
Take that, wizards.
They know what they did. Kwaku speaks with that artificer arrogance you've come to know and expect.
I should have thought of this before I did the ritual with Hemlock, but I wonder if there would have been a way to, like, copy that scroll. Oh well.
Just to answer for you that you can't.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah. There's no scribing ability for that. Although, because you've cast it now and because your class has the ability to do short term, you might be able to work out a way to do that separately with some research. It's kind of a weird special thing because, like, I don't want to step too hard on the entire druid archetype of getting an animal companion.
Right.
But this isn't really an animal companion, so I don't feel too bad about it.
Yeah.
Also, 5th edition has been pretty rough to the animal companions in general, so I feel kind of bad for some of the launch classes and the fact that they were clearly not thought out, at least not long term. So I like to work on the things that should have worked in their base classes into other variants. But cool. Anyway, Penelope is talking to Kwaku in the library. I don't know where you're at in the castle, but...
Anise is probably in the kitchen brewing potions.
Okay. Cool.
Oh yeah, question.
Uh-huh.
So the golem is running around doing landscaping. Is the golem wearing a little gardener hat?
If I could find one big enough for him and catch him and put it on him, yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so what I was telling Penelope as she got here, for the last day or two of your being in the castle, Echo has gone back to her cabin and is just sort of doing like full region reconnaissance with the archer statue so that she can get a sense of what the damage was from all of these events. So she just gave direction to the golem to clean up this mess regarding the courtyard. And it's been doing that. So if you want to dress it up while it does so, you have all the power to do that. It's pretty much stuck listening to you for direction on how to clean up this mess.
Yeah, I definitely, if I could find a hat and like maybe like an apron or something, I was able to like put it on him. Definitely,
Well, then that's
definitely
what's
wearing
happening
a gardening
because
outfit. Cool.
because as it turns out, you find let's see if I have a picture of it.
There's definitely a point where there's not much else I can do with the plants, and my potions have to brew. And yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, there's
I,
some things that just take time.
I just kind of get bored, and I don't want to bother Kwaku too much.
So,
I do bother, but not too much.
so fun fact, you do find what looks kind of like an apron. Only like Anise doesn't know it, but Penelope, when you saw it, the apron that this thing was wearing looked suspiciously like the weird belt slash apron type thing that the servant you saw in that flashback was wearing.
Oh, jeez.
You found essentially Hercules' like battle girdle thing,
Oh boy.
minus
Put it
the
on.
armor part, and you put it on it like an apron.
Yep, I sure did. But does the golem have a name?
That one doesn't.
Hmm.
The
Yeah,
Ainsburn don't really name their golems.
Hang on, let me
Are you gonna name the golem?
random name generator.
Truly the greatest of muses.
Golem. It's a male golem. I'm gonna ask it for a rare name.
Name it Theodore.
Theodore. Now, Theodore, I need you to look the part if you're going to be doing landscaping. So here, let's put this apron on you. Did I find him a hat?
You can look around for a hat, sure. Roll investigation for hats.
If I didn't find him a hat, I'm gonna make him a straw hat.
That's fair.
Investigation. Good, I'm confident. 11.
You find a very frilly hat in Ilya's closet.
Suppose this will do until I can weave you a straw hat. Here.
Okay, so
Here, Theo.
all right, so you said that you named him Theodore.
Yep.
All right, let's update his description.
I mean, you named Raps. It's only fitting. I named Theodore.
All right, his NPC name is now Theodore. That is what will
Yes.
appear should he be added to the combat tracker again.
I'm gonna say that at some point I did just get the urge to make something and wove him a straw hat.
Okay, that is fine. So yes, when Penelope, you get here, you see the giant girdle apron type thing that you saw on the Hercules servant, and a straw hat, remarkably well made. A remarkably well made straw hat sitting on its head, strapped under its chin so that it doesn't fall off. And otherwise, this golem is just running around doing landscaping.
To be Anna's doing. That is too cute. Oh no.
Annis has also made herself a straw hat.
Are you using normal wood or necrotic wood?
Oh
I'm using straw. I'm using
Like-
just grass.
Okay, you're talking like a literal straw hat. Gotcha, no problem.
Yeah, it's a literal straw hat.
Okay.
I'm not carving it out of the weird wood.
No, that's fair. Okay. All right, well then, yeah.
This doesn't do anything. It's just a straw hat. No AC bonus. No
Sure.
nothing.
Not a problem. So, for
I've
those...
woven flowers around the brim, so it's got like a flower crown straw hat aesthetic going on.
Oh my god.
My favorite part is that you've got all of this, and Penelope's walking up on it wearing her cowgirl hat.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's done by the saloon for.
Oh boy.
So, in a lot of ways, Kwaku is just sort of sitting here looking at all of you like, right?
except that I'm downstairs in the kitchen brewing potions.
Right.
At the
Yeah,
moment.
like that would be the moment. But yeah, so Echo is not really around right now, so this is sort of my opportunity to make a lot of the headway.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I can get far enough along on this, and then, if necessary, convince her that this is a better long-term investment, since the golem will have room to grow and take up less space, which he should appreciate.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be an issue, but it's still going to take a few weeks to really get it built. Most of the last week I've just spent learning how the core works. On the plus side, now that I see how cores can be transferred, after I finish this one, I might start building a new body for Raps, and then we can just move him over should he eventually be destroyed.
That'd be cool.
It's some fascinating technology. It's a bit beyond what I would have expected the Einsteins to have, but they're ahead in a lot of areas, so whatever the
Yeah.
case.
Oh, hey, and that means Raps can last longer.
Yes, he's going to make it much longer than I expected, which I appreciate. At any rate, if you're looking for Anise, I believe she's probably downstairs making potions. She's been doing that a lot lately. Oh, also, her little bird has a mask now, so don't freak out.
Oh, okay, good to know. Okay, cool. Well, I will run down there and see how she's doing. Yeah, have fun.
Will do.
So
Brooke's back downstairs.
okay, so if Hemlock thinks a thing, I can hear it. I don't have to be like blind or deaf.
Yeah, as long as you're within that range, you can hear each other's thoughts. It's only when you want to see or hear through the bird
Gotcha.
that you need to do that. So, like, you can get the level that the bird can articulate to you as a message, or you can directly look through.
I feel like Hemlock's probably been kind of keeping an eye and probably saw Penelope show up.
From up in the nest with all the fancy jewels in it, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because your bird is living the rich life up there with those gems that you put in its nest.
Aside from brewing potions, can we say that I did, or do I probably need to roll since I need to roll to make one for Hemlock? Can I say I'm trying to make a mask, a plague doctor mask that looks like his?
Oh, for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need to do the intelligence roll this time now that you've made one. You just need to do the dexterity. Like, you know what the mechanics of it are.
Oh.
Oh no.
So some of it didn't quite scale up as well as you thought. But it does look like a plague doctor mask. You just don't have the cool articulation for eating with it on.
Probably need to ask Kwaku with that, but since I know Penelope is on the way, I'm going to have the mask on and also the straw hat. And just be bent over a cauldron.
She's gonna try and sneak into the kitchen.
Roll.
Okay, at this point I am just going to pull up the kitchen map because we have this.
I have let's see, what is where would I find my, passive perception? Where would that?
Your passive perception should just be on the main page.
See, that's what I thought, but
I don't see it. I thought it was here before.
Isn't it under senses?
I have dark vision.
I may just add it for you.
Oh, wait, is it
it's
12?
It's like over on the right-hand side under senses.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
that is it. Yeah.
So my passive perception is 12, but would I need to roll something to see if I can sense her coming? Just regular perception?
Well, if you're not looking for her to, you know she's here though, right? So yeah, if
Yeah,
you're looking
yeah.
for her to come, you can just roll normal perception. And then likewise, I guess if Penelope's trying to sneak up on someone else, she can roll stealth.
I'm gonna roll stealth.
If you roll less than a 12, I know you're here.
Oh no!
Well,
I definitely
you
know.
absolutely know she's there. All right, let me open up the kitchen.
So, like, when Penelope comes in, Anise is just gonna turn around wearing the plague doctor mask and the straw hat and just be like,
She's gonna be like, what?
ah!
Oh. I think you're peeking out or something because I can't hear either of your things beyond that.
Yeah, no, that's about it. I'm just making bird noises.
Okay.
So it's like, oh no, Anna's turned into a giant bird. Ah.
How could this have happened? Wait, she's a druid. I know how this happens. All right, I'm gonna add you to here just because. And
All right, Anna, I know that you're a giant bird, but can you still speak human?
I was just messing with you. Do you I just take the mask off. Do you like it? It's a bigger version of the one I made for... Oh, the bird's name is Hemlock now.
So cute.
He is my familiar.
Aw.
can you see
He's
their
around-
icons?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Okay.
around his... Probably up in his nest.
Aw.
Picture him, but with a smaller version of the mask.
That's so cute. Oh my god. I need to see this. Oh. So how are you?
I'm doing quite well. I've got potions brewing, obviously.
Yeah, what all are you brewing?
It's an excellent question. I think she's for certain focusing on the one for Echo to stop the aging and possibly reverse it. There were also a bunch of other potions.
It's so weird. So you see yourselves on the map, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my screen sharing one can't see the two of you.
That's so weird.
Interesting.
Like I can see it on my screen, but I can't see it on the screen sharing one. I wonder if that's one of the side effects of the new interface. Well, I'm not gonna worry about it. You can see yourselves.
We're just that good at hiding.
You're so stealthy with your 10.
So the fantasy grounds can't see us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may have to adjust the permissions for the observation account to make this work, but whatever. Comedy ensues.
Hey.
But yeah, so yeah, Penelope, you could tell which room she was gonna be in, even like now that you're really paying attention. Like you somehow missed it before, I guess, because you were just like, I'll go upstairs. But once you went around the corner towards the normal entrance to the kitchen, you could certainly smell the potions brewing.
Yeah.
And then you went around and you actually saw like full blown witch Anise doing her druid stuff.
Yeah, that's like there's a lot going on here. Oh god.
Yeah, I've got like 6 or 7 potions all in different stages of brewing, and there are probably like potion bottles everywhere scattered around.
This is intense. This is a lot.
This is I'm actually being a little bit, oh gosh, there's a word. It's not as cluttered as as her normal workshop in London is. She's resisting the urge to brew a ton. Being modest now.
Conservative in the non-terrible sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually being quite conservative. I could have many more potions than this brewing at once. But how are you? How was going home and relaxing?
I mean, it was good. I got home and I slept for 12 hours.
Wow.
And I didn't snore.
Intense.
But
Glad
yeah.
that you got your rest.
I wrote some music. Yeah. It was a good week.
Is the full moon tonight or is that tomorrow night?
Good.
I guess that depends on when Penelope chose to come back.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say day of.
Okay.
Okay, so the full moon would be tonight. Cool.
I'll say she got there like in the...
Are there some kind of rolls I need to be doing about
No, you can just make potions. These aren't anything outside of your ability.
what about the special one I'm working on for Echo?
That one, yes. Those are gonna just be some intelligence rolls, since it's something new for you.
How many?
Let me see. Fantasy Grounds. Do things when I click on you. All right, Fantasy Grounds is finally moving stuff.
Yay!
Yeah, I think it just got mad at me. So yeah, actually, because you're brewing potions, we're gonna make these nature rolls. So.
Oh, nature, not in. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because you're directly leveraging your knowledge of nature to make this work. So, you're gonna have to do because you're doing a brand new one. We're gonna do 3 nature rolls.
okay.
So you can roll those like so.
Plus.
So each of those individually will be +2. So it's a 10, a 4, and a 17. Okay. So you're having a little bit of trouble at the beginning. You were trying some things that weren't working. Some things weren't sticking quite the way you planned. But the third batch of them actually shows a lot of promise. So you worked on the third one. You're not sure you want to give it to her yet, but you're feeling pretty good about it. Those were the first 3 days of you being here. So now roll 3 more. That's
Wow.
amazing.
Wow, what are the odds?
That's insane.
It should have been higher, but.
I kind of want to reward it anyway, because that's 4 8s out of 6 rolls.
10s, yeah.
Okay, well those are all 10s, which is fine. Like you kind of plateaued on it, but like thankfully because you hit that first 17, this is really just a matter of refining it, and 10's enough for refining. So give it one last roll for the 7th day, since that's where you're at now. Okay, that does it.
Yeah.
You're pretty confident after trying a few things the early days and then getting a real breakthrough. You were able to replicate it several times. And finally, with this latest brew, the one that you're working on right here, maybe it's just the freakish presence of your friend Penelope, who seems to have all that luck rubbing off of her all the time.
That's true.
This one seemed to come together exactly the way you want. It's exhibiting the right consistency, the right properties based on what you think should do it. The next question is like, are you going to give it to her? Are you going to, like, you don't really have much in terms of testing for this. You've got exactly one homunculus that's not in a tank.
I think, well, I think I'll at least bottle it up. I think this one is at least promising. I think I will give it to her the next time I see her, with the caveat of, you can try this if you want. I think it will work, but it's your body. I think this one, I mean, I wouldn't give this to you. It would definitely kill you.
Please don't give it to me.
It's a rather, this one has turned out quite a bit more purple than I was expecting.
It's a pretty color.
Yes, it smells, it also smells oddly good. I don't understand why. The others smelled quite bad and were all very green.
It smells like raspberry.
A little. I guess that explains the purple. But so I've been working on this one all week, and in my spare time away from it, I've just been brewing standard potions of climbing and health potions and all that good stuff.
Oh, cool.
Got some poison resistant potions. Just, you can't be too safe with these thieving types, I've got one that you may enjoy. It's a potion of growth. It will, hang on. Let me actually get the description. When you drink this potion, you gain the enlarge effect of the enlarge/reduce spell for 1d4 hours. No concentration required.
What does that do?
It basically, it acts like an enlarged spell. So I think it takes you 2 or 3 sizes bigger. Like it would take you from like what?
She's 4 feet tall.
No, like are you considered small?
Yes.
tiny,
Yeah, she's considered small.
I think you'd be considered large then.
Cool.
Like Caleb casts her on bow a lot, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I could be taller than all of you.
Hang on. Oh, here's the enlarge spell. You cause a creature or an object you can see within range to grow larger or smaller for the duration.
You double in size in all
Yeah, you
dimensions.
double in size.
So you would be 8 feet tall.
And your weight's multiplied by 8 for some reason.
Jeez.
That is admittedly how human bodies work.
Size, so from medium to large. So you'd go from small to medium.
I'm dubious of the idea that you're still a medium creature once you're 8 feet tall. I mean, you're very large for a halfling, but
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Brewing up a few normal potions. Your normal everyday, potions of greater healing and
No, as you do.
oh wow, if you brew a reduced potion instead, you could make a really, really small Penelope.
I don't have reduce. I only have a growth.
Yeah. Because I clicked on the enlarge reduce spell thing. I think there isn't a potion for reduce. That's just really funny because you get halved, so you would become like 2 feet tall.
That would be funny. I tried to think of things that might be useful in our next adventure in France, and it's so hard to predict what we're going to need, honestly.
By the way, so I did get the gig there.
Oh, excellent. You'll be performing then.
Yes. And so I got our hotel covered, so we're going to have a nice swanky hotel.
Oh.
I got our travel covered. We're going to be able to get some of the artifacts for ourselves.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So we're not just there to acquire the garment for Kwaku then.
Right.
Oh.
Oh, and we're actually going to get to meet Mr. Lupin before the thing.
Oh, excellent.
So,
hang on, I'm rolling a d.
And we get paid, or I get paid.
Oh
anyway.
yeah. So Anise has probably heard of Arsene Lupin, but is not like I say not a fan. Like it's not that she doesn't like Lupin. It's just if I'd rolled a 4 or higher, she was going to be like a fangirl. Not a fangirl.
Right.
Maybe have something of his something for him to sign. But
admittedly, as someone from England, there's a bit of a rivalry.
Right. So it's not that that she dislikes the Lupin family. It's just that she's kind of about the Lupin.
But yes.
More of a Sherlock fangirl.
But yeah, so we can get there a little early and, chill and
sightseeing.
Yeah.
I've never been to Paris.
Oh my gosh. We're gonna go get some rooms, and we're gonna go to the Eiffel Tower, and we're gonna go to Versailles, and she just starts listing out a bunch of things to do in Paris. So yeah, it's gonna be a full thing. It's gonna be good.
Sounds like it'll be quite an adventure.
Yeah.
Sure, when we return, Kwaku will be quite jealous of.
Yeah, I mean, he's missing out.
He didn't come with you, right? He's still in the library being a nerd. Okay.
Yeah,
he's still upstairs.
Still nerding.
Kwaku is suffering from the fact that you can't take books out of this library. So Anise has seen him regularly running back and forth from the area where he's building the golem and the library for reference pictures.
Is he able to take food in the library?
No, it disappears when you walk in with it.
Yeah.
No.
So, thankfully the book remembers the last thing that it goes up against.
Yeah.
So, the first day or so, Anise remembers occasionally hearing, "God damn it!" every time he forgets to not bring his own bag with him. Because he'll keep accidentally changing it back to one of the books he was carrying when he leaves the room to go look on the golem. But he got the hang of it after a while. And now he sort of has the 3-step process of goes to work on the golem upstairs, because he's working on it near like the actual core, in the
Mhm.
room with all the tanks and all the technology, and then he's running back down and refreshing to a different book when he needs stuff from a different book, and running back up and being very careful as he's leaving the room to not let it get too close to any of the other books. He got it down after about a day, but it was a very swear-filled first day.
Anise has been bringing him food 3 times a day, 3 square meals.
He's also been helping you get in and out of the ritual chamber when you need plants by kind of using the golem core like a key card that you just wave in front of the door because it hasn't been installed yet.
God, this
Yeah.
golem is gonna be so pissed.
Probably.
Anise probably tried to do as much of the plant-based work upstairs in the first few days, and then spent the latter half of the weekend on the potions and
Yeah.
the yeah.
Yeah, you both had a pretty eventful week.
About what time do you think you got to the castle?
I don't know. How long does it take to get from the saloon to the castle? Like generally.
Not too long now that you've got a direct path and don't have to worry about the trees attacking you. You can do it in like an hour.
Okay, so yeah, probably like later in the morning.
Okay, so Anise was probably going to be making lunch. There's some probably some leftovers from breakfast.
Oh no, I mean I'm good. Okay, what kind of breakfast?
Question. Probably waffles.
Waffles.
Well, there'd be a waffle maker at the pancake.
Pancakes.
Probably pancakes.
Oh my god.
I mean, you're still in Germany. There's probably also a waffle maker.
Fair.
Either way, gonna eat it.
Just give her the batter. She'll figure it out.
I brought some eggs from the saloon or something.
Yeah.
I don't know about going out into the wild and getting eggs from any birds that live in this area. That's probably not cool.
Yeah.
Especially considering bird friend.
Oh no.
That being said, I did let Hemlock have some like scrambled eggs or
Sure.
cannibalism, but it's important that you taste everything.
I mean, we eat other mammals. It's not cannibalism necessarily. In fact, you've actually had a pretty easy time finding stuff that you need now that you've got a flying scout for 100 feet. Like, Hemlock doesn't know necessarily which of the foods in the area you want, but you can just sort of do a flyby with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. Yeah, you definitely have food. Also, just to say that this happened to do it, you've had enough time in the castle now that you're pretty comfortable knowing where most of the stuff is. So you found more of the storerooms than you had before. There are other places with food on this floor. So
Oh, and then I probably properly looked in the freezer area now that there aren't little demons.
Like, the mold is still there keeping things cold in the back, but it's just doing its job. The demon things are gone. You got to watch the big golem go into the bathroom, and it, like, the room that is the one with the big bath, and there were some more mephits in there, but they were steam mephits. And so the golem was repeatedly punching them and nothing was happening until eventually Echo got annoyed and used some actual attacks that worked, using some of her ranger magic to
I
care of it.
probably helped.
Yeah, you helped out. Kwaku was pulled in. Like, the mephits weren't really much of a danger. It's just golems weren't well equipped to hit them.
Right.
But once they were run out, it's now quite a functioning bath/hot tub. Similar to how there was a mold that was keeping the other room cold, this one seems to have a supernatural heat source in it. It's not mold, it's just a rock that seems to make water warm. So they just sort of keep it in the bottom and treat it like a hot tub. So
We got a hot tub before we leave.
Anise has been so involved with her work. She took a bath like one day, but she's just been using the stone to,
Right.
or going to the library. Like, basically just in the library, checking on Kwaku going out. Oh, right, it cleans you.
yeah. Pretty much. Like, when it comes to stuff in the castle, if you got access to the rooms with stones in them like those two, you're really just taking baths for comfort and, you know, recreation. Which is fair. But yeah, like you've gotten more familiar with it. You know where all the pantries are. You've probably not been in all the rooms because you don't have much of a reason to, but between like before Echo left, she kind of gave you the rundown of what you could expect in all these places. You know that one of the floors is almost entirely bedrooms for homunculi, so like you don't have any real reason to go there. You got a better sense of where things were spread around. You know that apparently some of the other rooms that were in that same tower where you got the library key were set up as different obstacle course type things. But you didn't bother with those because I don't. Well, it's up to you if you wanted to bother with them, but I don't imagine that's something that Anise is really interested in doing.
Nah.
But those are there. There's stuff that Kiritsugu set up, and so Echo left for that. Eventually, she's gonna want to like get parts of this castle fixed, but it's just not really a priority right now. Like you're gonna want those walls fixed at some point, just structurally speaking, but nothing's collapsing. And with the tree practically gone now, it's not really much of an issue. Just gets a bit drafty in the areas that have missing walls.
Have you been reading this week?
Maybe?
Because you did get a lot
Oh,
of
that's
books.
true. Yeah, and I've been reading while it's daylight. I've been, and I've had time. I've been perusing the books in my spare time.
Which books?
You know which book.
So we're
I mean, I
back to
read
the
all-
recreational bathroom.
I've skimmed through all of them, but put a little more time into the Spider-Man book, clearly.
Yeah, clearly.
Obviously.
Gotta
I
know
mean,
Quacky.
Dice Spinner and whatnot.
And like, and then she's definitely like, at some point, Kwaku has seen her reading the Spider-Man books, and I don't know how that played out because she doesn't. Like, she's starting to get the joke, but still doesn't quite get it.
Yeah. So like you just like casually have it around while bringing him food or something.
Yeah, something like that, or maybe like he actually came down to the kitchen a couple of times or something,
Right.
rather than making.
Yeah, like he's
making-
not just working on the golem. He can only do so much of
Yeah.
that a day. Yeah,
Or
so
just,
like
like-
he sees the book. Oh. Is it good? I've never actually read them, but I did see the movie.
Oh, quite fascinating. I feel like I've started in the middle of a story here and don't quite get the context, but
That sounds about right.
well, it's just oh shoot, what was it? It just translates to the spider,
Yeah.
I think, in the German version.
It's like Die Spinner or something.
Yeah. I mean, if we just scroll up in the chat,
Like,
D-Speen, yeah, which
D-Speen.
is just the spider, yeah. There we go. Now I don't have to be distracted by gifs.
I appreciate how D-Spin has just new in a circle written on it.
Yeah.
And that picture of Spider-Man waving at the audience in the top corner. I'm glad they get the corny covers in Germany too.
Hey.
Yes, it's interesting. I don't quite understand why it was recommended to me, but certainly fascinating.
Maybe it was a hint. Maybe Penelope wants you to be a superhero.
Oh. But you're the one with the spider thing.
Perhaps, but you're the one with a mask.
There. I could be, what, the crow? The raven?
Oh, no, don't leave the crow. Crow.
Anise
feel like-
announces that she's the crow, and Penelope's like, "Oh no."
I feel I have a lot to learn about comic books and superheroes and whatnot, but it is at least an interesting read.
Ooh.
I don't know where the rest of that scene is going.
Well, I mean, yeah. Then Kwaku just sort of. Well, if you find anything interesting in the comic book, let me know. I do like to collect stories.
Oh. Well, good then. Lunch is ready over there. It's tomato sandwiches. Again, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's fine. It's totally fine. And so yeah, he chows down. Like you've not actually seen him really complaining about the food at all. Um, for a split second, you remember that most of the legends about his ancestors were that they ate people, and that's kind of fun to think about because for the most part, all you've ever really seen him eating is just normal food. And that one time he tried yeehaw chili.
This is not normal food by any means.
Nope. But yeah, so like that's pretty much how that's been.
Yeah.
So that's been your routine with Kwaku. You know it's going to take him a little bit to actually finish this out, but
I'll occasionally I've like I said, I've been reading through all the books. So it's up to I guess the DM whether he's like seen me reading any smut or anything.
I guess that's going to be up to Anise for where she is when she's reading anything inappropriate.
Annis has no shame about these things. So
Okay.
like she's just kind of reading everything that she has at random intervals.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to have Kwaku roll perception.
Yeah, Annis's tribe, like, they're not like, it's not like they're going around having orgies all the time, but they're like very like open about sex and things like that.
Right.
Being druids, yeah. So therefore, she has like little to no shame, and kind of doesn't understand why Penelope and her manager were freaking out so much about the smut, because she fully thinks it's because it's like got the Lady of the Lake.
No,
in
that's
mind.
actually precisely what it was. Yeah,
So it's not just that it's smut; it's because it's smut
I mean,
specifically
it is
about.
a little because it is smut, but
Cool. How'd that perception roll go?
I really wish I could. Like, there has to be a way for me to display these. Like, I feel like there's a button that should do it. But yeah, Kwaku rolled a 20. Doesn't say anything. He's polite.
He's definitely seen her just casually reading smut while she's waiting on potions to brew. That's excellent.
Yeah, so like at one point, Kwaku's coming down into the kitchen for food, and he sort of sits down, starts eating his sandwich. Annis is sitting down, sandwich in one hand, book in the other. He sees the cover of the book.
It's probably the one that's got like the Bishonen Merlin with like the strategically placed flowers or whatever it was.
Yeah, so he sees that. Huh. And then he continues on with the sandwich.
oh god, okay, I started laughing so hard I started coughing.
Woo. And like I imagine when Penelope, like, you know, flash forward to the present, like when Penelope gets there, like if she like looks around enough in the potion area, she can probably spot a few of the books, including that one.
It's like shaking her head like nope, 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 nope. Absolutely not. Anyway.
It's gonna be real awkward in about 8 hours.
But yes, that's how things have been going here. You know, I've been eating 3 square meals a day, making sure Kwaku is fed, weaving straw hats for the golem because I got bored, and for me because I got bored, making contracts with little necrotic ghosty birds. You know, the usual.
You know, a typical Tuesday.
Brewing potion.
Oh, cool.
Possibly reviving thought to be extinct plants.
Neat.
Had quite a full week. Oh, I guess since you're here, that means the full moon is tonight, then.
That it is.
That ought to be interesting.
I was gonna say you're still up for
Oh,
Put me
yes.
in on that, right?
Oh, yes, definitely. I feel like I will learn something, at least.
And I hope for you it's not actually the Lady of the Lake.
I hope it is. That seems quite interesting.
Miss, I'm gonna read smut about the Lady of the Lake.
I didn't set out to read the smut. It was just there.
Uh-huh.
This book, and she picks up the one. This one doesn't even have her. It's all just Arthur and the Knights of the Round and Merlin, you know? It's a whole bunch of guys being dudes.
Guys being dudes.
I mean, and it's. If this is an actual historical account, I'll be very shocked. There's quite a bit of embellishing going on, as far as I can tell. I'm certain Merlin didn't sleep with all of them.
He might have.
I mean, it's possible he might.
He might have.
I mean, he was quite descriptive about a lot of the parts in a way that seems fictional.
Yikes.
There's no way they were all that well endowed, is what I'm saying.
You never know. It could have been in the water.
I mean, it's a shame you can't read German. It's
I,
quite entertaining.
It's probably for the best.
Well, I mean, I may be able to find an English translated copy.
I mean, hey, there could also be some fun stuff to read when we get to France. And then I can just read it and not share it.
I have been meaning to learn French, but you can't learn a language overnight. Normally, I'm just
It's okay. C'est difficile.
So anyway, I'm gonna keep rolling.
Just letting you go.
So like
I'm just gonna unless there's something else you want to
gonna
do,
go.
I'm just gonna keep brewing these potions and yeah.
Alright, you have fun with that. I will come back and yeah, I will be back. So she's gonna, I don't know, wander around the castle some more until
Sure.
time.
After spending 8 hours in the hot tub.
Yeah.
How did you know? Actually, yeah, she's gonna spend 8 hours in hot now.
It's literally on the floor that you're on right now.
She spends at least one of those hours in the hot tub.
All right. I don't.
Do you invite Anise or do you just leave her to her?
She invites both Anise and Kwaku. Why not?
Okay, so
If anybody wants to join me, I'm getting in the hot tub.
Anise does not have a swimsuit and also has no shame about her body, so she just gets in naked. Just letting you know.
Okay.
All right. They changed all my controls, so I'm gonna
Nudity.
see if I can. Oh wow, there's all these settings that weren't here before. They upgraded all of Fantasy Grounds with this update, and I didn't know that.
Oh no.
Guess I'm gonna see what these buttons do.
Hey Anise.
Yes,
Nice butt.
thanks.
You're welcome.
Yours is nice too.
Dang.
There you go. There's a hot tub.
Hot tub.
I want you to know the entire interface is different on the back now.
That is a huge hot tub. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Wow.
keep in mind how big those squares are.
So it's on
Yeah,
the same floor as the kitchen. Okay.
Yep, it's right over there.
Oh.
Now, if Kwaku gets in, Anise will then have. Oh, well, I can't go there. I'm getting stuck in the hallway. If
Oh,
Kwaku,
the
Kwaku
diagonals?
decides-
Well, I'm just gonna clear out this whole area because you've seen it now anyway, Ennis.
True.
So like,
I mean, she probably
here
got
you go.
bored of just reading and wandering
Just
around.
telling you, like, so this area up here, that I guess the northwest rooms are the offices for essentially the servants of the castle forever ago, and now the homunculi that have more administrative jobs. This is where things are brought when they're actually ordered from outside, and this is where you found a lot of that food that wasn't in the pantry yet, because it was just, this is where receiving is. So most of that's in here. You also found a bunch of found a bunch of clothing, that same fabric that is used to make the Ironsburn outfits. So if you ever want to make a fancy one that doesn't look exactly like the rest of them, you've got it. And you found some money, essentially. Like, I'm not making you roll for that because you have plenty of time. The money that they're using, like the more spendable money that isn't gold, they've got some of that around. So that's neat. And you also, actually, this one you can roll an investigation on just for hindsight, because it's not as easy to find.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. It was enough. So you hit the 15 that you needed. You found another one of Kiritsugu's bug out bags, as he keeps these around.
What now?
Since he keeps these things around. So yeah, you find this bug out bag of his. It's a duffel bag that has a bunch of European currencies that have since been replaced with the euro, because this is from 1994. And so that's kind of funny. But it's also got a few more clips of ammunition and a smoke grenade and a fragmentation grenade in it, in case you want those.
The smoke grenade might be handy. The currencies she'd probably take just because she thinks that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, they could still be converted.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Essentially, this is just another bag that he kept around for if he needed to leave, like, right now. There was a note with it in German that specified that it was found irresponsibly kept in one of the closets. And presumably they moved it down here and just never processed it. 10 years ago.
So, I don't know if I'd want to meet him, but I definitely have questions if I do.
Okay, I'm going to add the items from there to your inventory.
Cool. Yay, now I have two. I definitely dumped the grenades that Penelope gave me just as it's somewhere in the castle as soon as possible.
Okay, then I won't add the grenades here. I'm just going to add the money.
I think she'd probably take the smoke grenade. That seems useful.
Okay. Oh, actually, I bespoke before. There are 4 smoke grenades because I rolled dice on it.
Ah.
So have 4 smoke grenades. Enjoy.
Yay. Time to have a gender reveal party. No.
There you go. You've got 4 smoke grenades and a hot tub. I believe this can only end well.
I don't think she'd take smoke grenades into the hot tub.
Probably not.
Okay. Token.
Yeah, we still can't actually get into said hot tub.
Is it still not letting you walk? I cleared out the area.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting stuck right about there.
Oh, it must be something new with the interface, because like I've revealed them, but you can't actually move through them.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna drag you in here. You're in the hot tub.
Can't enter the room.
It's not letting me drag you there either. What is this?
Weird.
This is what I get for going out of town and then trying to use Fantasy Grounds after an update without playing with it first.
Clearly, we're not supposed to have.
You're clearly banned from the hot tub.
This doesn't have a swimsuit and has to go in naked. Clearly.
Too steamy for Fantasy Ground.
Like,
Too hot for fantasy.
But she wasn't expecting to go swimming on this trip or anything.
All right.
Well, hypothetically, Penelope went and got in the tub. Whether or not it is there, that's fine.
Now, like, obviously, if, like, a guy were to join, then she would be like, oh, I need, like, a towel or something. Or we need to just kick Kwaku out.
Oh, I see why it doesn't let you do that now. So they finally enabled dynamic lighting.
Ah.
So I'm going to set that up before the next session, because that's really cool. But because of dynamic lighting, since I never set up lines on this map for walls, it doesn't know where you can go, and it won't let you move in areas you can't see. So
Interesting.
that's going to be really cool starting next session when I actually have time to set it up.
Yay!
Because then instead of me revealing things as you walk around, it's going to be tied to your token, and you'll be able to just poke around a corner, see things, and then duck back on your own.
Oh, cool.
So that's going to be really cool. I just need to redo the maps to account for that because it doesn't know where the walls are. But yeah, so for right now, we'll just pretend that you successfully made it to the hot tub. Kwaku is not there right now, so you two have fun.
Woohoo! You just dragged yourself back to the kitchen.
I mean, I figured, why not? Into my little gremlin potion.
Later, naked Anise in the kitchen.
No.
Yeah, it is. Nice butt.
We did this already. We already role-played this scene.
So is it safe to assume that you both are just continuing on with your potions and you're wandering around the castle for the next few hours until it becomes nighttime?
Hang out in the hot tub a bit, whether or not Kwaku joins. If Kwaku joins, Anise will get like a towel or something. Seems like he probably won't join.
At some point, Penelope's gonna go back to the closet that has Ilya's clothes in it, and she's gonna keep digging for more stuff.
Okay. You've got plenty of time to dig through there.
Yeah.
She has a lot, so.
Gonna take a.
Okay, so suffice it to say you get through the rest of the day. Potions are brewed. Clothes are mined through. You find some nice things that do fit you. So that's fun.
Right.
When it comes time for, the sun goes down, the moon's starting to come out. Where do you want to do the ritual?
There was that pool that was beside the library. It seemed like specifically for faithing. There's also the lake.
Let's go to the lake. No, wait. Would they be able to do it in the grotto?
I mean, presumably.
Try the grotto.
You can try the grotto. All right, I'm not going to bother with the map since it's not letting you be on it. At all. So we'll get that sorted out for next time. Admittedly, next time will be more entertaining because I have to have it in person. But
True.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, you one of the fun things that you notice about the little grotto is that it does seem to be set up such that moonlight can get into it. Like there's a series of windows above it at an angle such that it can actually let in some natural light even though it's technically not facing the outside of the building. It seems like it's just set up in a weird way to make that work. It's not the weirdest architecture you've seen in this castle, so neat. And sure enough, like while you're sitting in there, at a certain point in the night, like close to midnight, the moon passes over the part that shines down into there, and you notice the water starts to gather as it tends to do when Penelope does this ritual. And after a moment, I am going to use the official image just because why not? This action doesn't happen, but
Oh, you mean I don't get Excalibur?
no.
Damn.
You would have to be a warlock to do that.
True.
But you could.
One day.
Just take that dip into warlock. You've already got charisma. It'll work out.
That's fine.
So yeah, after doing your quick little ritual, the water pools in the center, and looking down into it, you can see your reflection in the moonlight, and you can see Anise's reflection in the moonlight, and then you see the reflection of another woman, and as you look at the reflection of her, her figure is kind of hard to make out, but it's definitely feminine. And as the moonlight touches it, it starts to sort of lift up out of the water, and the reflection slowly shifts up into the vertical standing form of a woman in front of you. And it's hard to make out her features, but they're definitely there. They're definitely feminine. You can't really get any color out of it because she is made out of the water, but she is smiling down at you. And then she begins to speak. Hello, Penelope. How have you been?
I've been good. How have you been?
Oh, eternal life on the other side of the world.
Valid.
I see that you've come a long way since the last time we spoke. Have you gained the experience necessary for the things that I taught you?
I mean, I think so. I haven't tried them yet, but
That's
I think
good.
I got it.
The practice will be helpful. Oh,
Yeah.
and I see you've brought a friend this time.
Yeah, this is Anise.
Hello.
Hello, Annis. It's very nice to meet you.
Mm,
I heard about you from one of my sisters.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, what?
Which one?
Oh, there are several of us. I believe you know that there's Nimue. There's myself. I'm Vivienne, of course. Nimue mentioned you. She tries to keep an eye on all who are touched by the Fae.
Oh.
It's rather fascinating to see the two of you together. I wasn't aware you knew each other.
It's a very recent development.
Yeah, I met her like a week and some change ago at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, we met on the train on the way up here.
Sounds like you had a bit of an adventure because I don't believe I've seen anyone through this pool of water in some time now. You're in the Einsburn Castle, are you not?
Yeah.
That is fascinating. I believe the last one to use this pool was, well, one of the homunculi, Ecovial. Have you met her?
Yeah.
She's a good girl. I taught her a little bit about how to use nature magecraft. I hope she's been putting it to good use. I haven't heard from her in some time.
Yeah, she's seen better days, but
Things have been interesting here lately. The very bad tree that we took care of.
This is a vampire tree.
It's a vampire tree.
Yeah, kinda.
Like Einosh?
Yeah.
Like the Einosh?
I don't think it was the Einosh. I think it was like a child of Einosh.
Oh, those are also bad. But you're in the Einsburn Castle. Did something happen?
Yeah. And I just explained the whole thing with yeah.
Okay, so you've now caught up the Lady of the Lake on the last week of events. All right.
Yeah.
And also, by extension, the last thousands of years of events.
Okay, so you're just giving her the full story of everything.
Everything that we've been able to piece together.
Yeah.
That is quite a lot. So it's a bit troubling to hear that they're continuing on with the Grail War, but I think it might be necessary. As the two of you are aware, the Fae are on the other side. We're on the reverse side of the world. It's why I can only speak to you through water like this. Your side is too shallow for the mana that we would need to survive, and ours is too deep for most more close to humanity. But we've actually encountered a bit of an issue in this timeline. A little over a year of your time ago, we encountered a problem where one area on our side began to, well, it was also leaking, so to speak. it seems that whatever has happened in your Fuyuki City is happening to the corresponding space on our side. Perhaps something in between our layers is taking it in.
But that's not good at all.
No, oh god.
That would be problematic.
We believe that the ley lines are gone. What was it again? That the ley lines in Fuyuki City are either just damaged or just straight up gone?
Yeah, what you know about Fuyuki is that something presumably in the ritual resulted in the ley lines draining out. Like they're not replenishing. Like normally mana goes in a cycle, like a water cycle. It's just disappearing at some point in here, and the area around it's dying out. You don't know where it's going.
Yeah, so we will relay that to the lady.
That's very troubling. Well, my concern then would be that whatever is causing this would need to be reversed. I've got a man in a tower that I think I'll ask a few questions and see what he knows about this. It's probably his fault. Usually everything is his fault. Okay, I'll see what I can find there. And then
reversing back just a little bit to when I sent, or I guess I haven't sent the plants out yet. I was going to do that when we went to.
Yeah, you haven't been to the saloon yet.
Yeah, I would definitely include like notes about that situation because if it's ley line stuff, my tribe's going to want to know probably.
Yeah, you've got a lot of updates for them.
Even though they're in the Scotland, Ireland area, and Fuyuki is in Japan, it's still like a thing.
I mean, Fuyuki still has druids. Like the word will spread.
Yep. All right, back to the present.
Sure. I think this is going to be one of those situations where we might need some help on both sides of the world to address this. As I'm sure you are aware, we have limited influence on your side. We have to act through intermediaries. Neither of you are in my debt, so I cannot command you, but if you could perhaps find out more about whatever Holy Grail War occurs next, that would be helpful. Perhaps the solution for this would be a wish countermanding the last one in whatever form that took. Or perhaps the other participants in this war at least understand what happened. If we could find out what's wrong, we could try to do something. Nothing should be piercing through. The spear holds true as far as I'm aware, and that should be keeping the patterns apart.
Yeah, we can we'll find out what we can.
I feel like it might be a good opportunity for me to reach out to others who do serve me directly and perhaps get you some assistance, because this could be very dangerous. If the last few Grail Wars are of any indication, then there could be some danger abounds. I know that something of my property was taken away.
Oh, what?
Some time ago. So you're both obviously familiar with the legends of King Arthur and the Round Table.
Yeah.
Well, I gave a gift to King Arthur, and it was given on the condition that it's returned to me, and that hasn't happened yet.
Oh.
And my understanding is that the Einsburns, of all people, came into possession of it and then lost it. So
that's rude.
So at the very least, I would be interested in having the sacred scabbard of Avalon returned. But beyond that, the items like that should not disappear. They're too powerful and they are too important to just lose. So if these Holy Grail Wars are that serious, it's quite possible that they're costing us even more than that. So I may be sending one of my knights to check into this as well.
Okay.
like we should book some flights after we're done with Paris.
Yeah.
Shakwaka would love to go along.
Yeah, we can look for Avalon and find out what we can, I guess.
I'm not sure that you necessarily need to find Avalon itself. It's more just a symptom of the problem. Like, if we can't find Avalon, then we'll know that wherever it is, it's not on your side and it's not on ours, and perhaps we can use that to find where it went and where all this mana is going with it. So I will have someone look for it again. It's been lost, but it was always there somewhere. So I suppose for now, if you could perhaps you could find out what the next war looks like and where it will be. And perhaps, if necessary, we could field our own candidates. This is all a lot to consider. I wasn't aware any of this was going on.
Gotten in with the Einsburn. At least.
They're one of the 3 families. You've clearly got access to their castle.
Yeah.
Well, and I consider Coviel to be a friend at least. I don't know how she feels. She's the one remaining homunculus right now. And then there's the golem.
She's a very determined individual. If she set her mind on there being a Grail War, she'll find a way to make it happen. And based on the situation that it sounds like they're in, she'll probably have a fair bit of say. If I know anything about the way these worked in the past, they're going to have to gather 7 families to make this happen, or at least 7 representatives. And if what you say of Fuyuki is true, they're definitely short on those. As I would wager that the Einsburns have whatever you can make, and the Tosaka and the Makiri seem to be gone. Perhaps you should reach out to some of the other survivors. As I understand it, the Edelfelts from the Third War are still around. And, well, I believe there was a survivor of the Fourth War, but I don't know much about him. I believe he hides away in Clock Tower now. There are a few leads. I'll find out what I can, and perhaps we can check back in the next time the moon is high and determine next steps from there.
Yeah.
In the meantime, is there anything that I can do to help you? I'm ever the teacher.
Well, I have a lot of questions after stuff we found in the library.
Oh, do go on.
And also some stuff we found in a bookstore. Oh.
You seem like you want to have a long conversation with your mentor. I'll get back to my potion.
Oh, okay. Sure?
Yeah, I'm nodding over here, like, oh right, yeah, I need to say. Yes, I'll be going.
Oh, okay. Have fun.
I'll give Nimue your regards.
Please do. Anna's had no idea that she's been being watched by Nimue this whole time.
Yeah. Rock that Fey ancestry.
Yeah, no idea.
Alright, so yeah, she has questions about that book.
Okay.
She's like, alright, okay, so... So I found this book in the Einsburns library. And... Like, you and Nimue aren't the same person, right? That's a really dumb question.
It's a complicated question. It's easier to think of us as sisters. There are many differing legends about the Lady of the Lake, and each time a new legend is taking hold, a new version of us is created. So, as such, we are related, more like sisters, but we all spawn from the same legend.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Side note. No, wait. Never mind. That was my brain being. Um. Shit. Okay. So also, Anna's found these books, and they were not. She explains the books that Anna's found.
Specifically the ones about Merlin.
Uh-huh. She's like, how true is any of that?
And you're explaining like the details of like with all the Knights of the Round Table and everything else with Merlin.
The part where the book claims Merlin slept with. That's probably
I mean that too. She needs to know everything.
The implication was at least one of those was like written by Merlin.
Yeah.
Heavily embellished.
Well, that certainly sounds like a ridiculous thing that he'd probably say when sufficiently drunk.
Okay.
I don't think there's much truth to that. Like, as a bare minimum, I can promise you he's never come into close contact with Mordred. Would not have written that kind of story about Sir Mordred. There were their fair share of stories at the time. It's quite possible that some of them were mistranslated. It's admittedly also possible that someone rather horny decided to write a book with all the characters they could think of.
Grady.
Which admittedly is also where a lot of legends come from. Have you seen the Celtic folklore?
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Let's just say that there's a lot of spears.
Ooh.
But I wouldn't worry too much about it. I have it on good authority that Merlin's got a very limited influence over the world right now.
Good. Also, did we ever make a deal?
Are you asking if you're under a fey contract to steal you of your free will or your name or something?
Yeah.
No, we've not done that.
Okay.
If that were to happen, you would gain more power than you have now. There would always be a trade-off, but you have been learning the ways of the Fae. You've not actually become indebted to the Fae or become a champion of the Fae.
Okay.
Should you be interested in such a path, I can definitely make the connections for you, but no, you've just been learning. We make a point of trying to take care of those with Fae blood or Fae ancestry or ties to the Fae. Phantasmals are dying out, simply put. There aren't a lot of you. You can't survive easily in the world of man, but were you to come over to our side, you would likewise drown in the depth of mana awaiting. You're trapped between two worlds, and we feel sympathy for that. We had to leave, and we couldn't take you with us, but we still feel responsible, so we try to help you where we can. And in exchange, we hope that you'll help others of your kind, and that in cases like this, you continue to inform us of the world that we can only sort of see.
Okay.
But
yeah,
any deal should be explicit. We're very firm about that. You might not understand what deals you're making, but you should always be aware that you're making a deal.
Okay. It was another thing that I had read that I was like, okay, no, I need to find out if I've done something really dumb or not.
There are definitely those that have decided that they need more power than they have, and they've made deals and bargains which have given them that power, but in exchange for that power, we generally expect them to use it to better ends than perhaps what they consider the best outcome. Um, it might not surprise you to hear too much, but even King Arthur made a deal with us.
Oh, wow.
We don't just go around giving people swords.
Are you sure?
Quite sure.
You don't just carry around a bunch of swords and just distribute them at will?
Well, not usually. There might be one of us who thinks it's funny, but for the most part, we try to make sure that anything that is given comes with an understanding, and it's a bit harder to do that on a whim. King Arthur came to us for help after his sword was broken, and we gave him a new one, and we made a deal, and King Arthur agreed to it. And
Ooh.
that's how King Arthur got Avalon and Excalibur.
That makes sense. Huh.
So are you going to continue on the bardic path?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very good then. In that case, I'll have to explain a few things to you, and with some practice, I'm sure you'll be able to get the hang of them.
Okay, yeah.
And-
I don't know what I was sorry.
You're what?
I don't know what I was about to say.
That's fair. So yeah, then she proceeds to explain some principles and ideas to you to think about. And they're a little bit above you right now, but you get the sense that this is more something that you're supposed to think about for a while. And then in due time, this might make a little more sense. Some of the things that you sort of pick up from it, they feel similar to stuff that you know right now, but you're getting the inkling that there's just an entire level beyond your current magecraft that you're just on the cusp of. And perhaps with a little bit more of experience, you'll be able to use such spells.
Yay!
Hooray. Do you have any other questions for her, or?
Hold that thought. Okay, this has nothing to do with any of the spells or anything. It's gonna be like, Vivi, do you mind if I write a song about you? Also, what is it? Is it okay if she calls her Vivi?
You may address me as such.
Yay!
And yes, you can write whatever you wish, so long as it's flattering.
I mean, of course. I would
Songs,
never write anything unflattering.
songs are stories, and stories allow us to persist far beyond our absence in the world. It's a great gift.
Alright, cool. I will write a whole album about you.
You'll have to sing it to me sometime.
Yeah! I'll give you an update next time.
Excellent. It sounds like we'll have quite a meeting in a month's time.
Yeah. Where that'll be, I don't know. But we'll figure it out.
So long as there's a reflective water, I'll be there.
Yay!
Just try not to summon me from a toilet.
See, now, I would never do that to you. That is really rude.
It is.
Has somebody done that to you before?
Anyway, it looks like we're running out of full moon, so I suppose I'll have to see you in a month. And with that, she just splashes and the water collapses right in front of you into the surface.
Okay, I need to find out who summoned Vivi in a toilet, and I have to go kick their ass.
Fair.
Alright. Now that that's done, she's...
So, just for funsies, Penelope can go ahead and roll history. Because it's the closest skill we got to this.
Oh, dear.
Okay. You kind of remember hearing an urban legend at one point about you think it might have been from Asia or Japan, but there's a legend about a haunted woman who lives in a bathroom.
Oh
no. And you're wondering if maybe what happened was at some point someone walked in on a druid or someone similar communicating with a lady of the lake from the only water source they had available and thought it was haunted.
Oh no.
And now, being Penelope and familiar with the modern world, you're then wondering if maybe that's also where Moaning Myrtle came from.
Oh no. Whoopsie.
So that's a fun use of history.
Gee.
Okay, so yeah, now you know.
Oh no, poor lady of the lake. Getting someone down the toilet. Oh, good. Alright, she's gonna collect herself and then go back downstairs.
Okay. So at this point, does anyone have other stuff they want to do here? Because you've got a week before France.
I mean, it's 11:30, so maybe not tonight.
Yeah, we're not going to do it tonight. I'm just asking so I know what we're going to pick up with next time.
Giving Akoviel the potion and seeing what happens.
Okay.
I mean, I guess we could do that tonight if the...
Yeah, that's fine. Like, that's not going to be a long thing. So, yeah, the next day, Echo comes back. She reports in... Like, I'm not going to roleplay through it because it's just tedious info dump. But she reports in that she's definitely seen signs that the area is improving now that the ley lines have been fixed. She's been sort of looking around for other signs of damage. Another thing that she's noticed is that, well, not her specifically, but the ghosts that sort of float around the Lancer statue. One of them has reported into her that they're seeing less and less of those other ghosts in that area that you stayed in with the rock. It seems some bird has been flying around and sending them on to their resting place in its spare time.
I wonder.
Yeah. But hey, they're moving on is the important part. These ghosts that have been stuck here for over 1,000 years are finally moving on, which bodes well for the restoration of that area. Because if there's no vengeful ghosts there, then other things can habitate that space. And in due time and with some effort, it's possible that maybe even what's left of the structures of those 1,000-year-old houses could be repaired or something else, like after the castle's fixed. But she kind of likes the idea of maybe setting up some residences for homunculi outside of the castle, because keeping them all in the castle is probably a bad idea based on what just happened. And she's benefited a bit from being remote, so maybe they would too. So she's got ideas. And you mentioned the potion to her, and she's taken aback by it when you offer it. That you made it, first of all, but also that it might actually work. And after a really quiet, somber moment, she says, "I'll try it once we've got the golem. I can't risk passing before he's here, just in case. But thank you."
It should stay good for quite a while.
Thank you very much. You have no idea how much this means for me. And she sort of takes the potion from you and she holds it close to her chest, almost like she's hugging it.
Smells of raspberry, which is interesting because I didn't put any in.
Perhaps it's
But I
fortuitous.
wouldn't worry too much about it.
Given the symbolism, I'll take raspberry over pomegranate.
Fair.
Well, I suppose while Kwaku is building that golem, I should probably get this next batch of homunculi up and out. It's going to take a lot of help to get this castle back in order, and I'd rather not the golem scold me as soon as he pops up.
And he might not. You never know.
Theodore has been doing excellent work. I really think that making him the Straw Hat improved his morale. I'm kidding. It's improved my morale, at least.
It's not hurting anything. So, yeah, that's pretty much the quickie version of it. So she's going to be spending the next week activating some of the vats with homunculi. One thing that you will note is that previously she wanted to just wait for the golem because it's the golem's job to do this. But she's showing a little bit more initiative since that conversation you had. Because she's starting to make decisions on what these homunculi need to do for herself. So that's promising. But yeah, so that's cool. Given that, you've got a few more days if you want to keep making stuff, and then off to France.
At some point, I think we'd probably find Kwaku in the library without Echo around and tell him about the shenanigans with the Lady of the Lake and all that stuff.
Oh, that's very troubling. The reverse side of the world is also suffering. I suppose it's possible that something between the layers is doing this. I don't know what would be there, though.
I had already planned on trying to find my way to Japan anyway. I think once we've got the golem up, it might be a good idea to go take a look.
I agree. I think it might also be worthwhile to perhaps get the Edelfelts to meet us there. They've got enough interest in this Grail War, and quite frankly, as former participants, at least some of this is on them too.
I'll be sending word of this to my tribe as well. I'm sure they'll be quite interested in ley lines that are just not replenishing.
It would be good to have the druids weigh in, yes. This is troubling. If mana is draining from this side, then that's very bad for us. But if it's also draining from the other side, then
Where is it going?
I don't know where it's going, but the reverse side has far more mana than our side does. And if our side drains, I don't know what would happen. Like, our texture could die, and that would just leave the reverse side and whatever's growing on top of it. I don't know enough about this. I think you would need to get an expert. But from what little I do understand, the last times that textures died, it was Ragnarok? Like the end of all of the Norse pantheon. Or perhaps the Fae. Perhaps that was it. But the Fae left. They went to the reverse side. I don't know. Regardless, if this side dies, then we're dead. Like, that's it. That would be the end of the world for all of our purposes, regardless of what's left under us.
Where would we find an expert? Clock Tower, there's Atlas Institute.
Clock Tower might know something. Atlas is focused entirely on preventing the end of the world, so it's possible they've got some insight. Well, you're about to meet a presumably varied bunch of mages, aren't you?
That is true. I would assume there are going to be quite a number of mages at the
Yeah.
party, and maybe
Perhaps
we'll be able to get someone there.
perhaps keep an eye out for anyone who might have any insight on something of this nature. At the very least, they'll want to know. I'm not a big fan of talking to the clock tower in general, but odds are whatever's going on there, they're at least paying some attention to it. Like, just when I was there, I noticed it and I reported it, but I don't think they've realized that it's so big as to reach the other textures.
Penelope, your lady of the lake mentioned trying to find survivors of the Grail War.
Right. She mentioned there was a guy in the clock tower who
Survived the one previous,
fourth?
the fourth.
Yeah.
Why they- I was
Yeah, she mentioned the one guy in the clock
the Edelfelds, of
in the
course.
Edelfeld.
She said that the Tosakas and another family were gone.
Yeah.
Both of their estates were part of the region in Fuyuki that disappeared.
Oh.
So presumably they were involved. I haven't heard of them in the last year, but they're both admittedly reclusive.
Also possible we'll find survivors in Fuyuki if we go.
Yeah.
Possible.
Sounds like we've got a bit of a tour ahead of us.
Quite. Lots of letters to write.
Well, at least we've got travel money.
That is true.
Well, I wish you both good luck. I will do what I can here. Hopefully by the time you get back, I'll have made enough progress that I won't strictly need to sit here and finish it up. It's going faster than I thought it would. Turns out smaller bodies are actually easier to make. Or at least they take less resource time. Who knows? Perhaps we'll just bring the little bastard with us. He presumably knows more about this than anyone else, given he was there when the ritual was created.
Field trip.
A family trip to Fuyuki. A family can be a druid and a bard and an artificer and three golems and a homunculus
And a little bird.
and a little bird. Yes.
Okay. So, does that about cover everything that we want to do in the Germany part?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, when we meet up next time, we will be in France.
Woo!
Ooh la la.
Possibly with a guest.
Woo.
We'll see how that works. Yeah, hopefully.
Ooh.
So, we're going to wrap up the streaming adventure right now. So, good night, the internet. And I have no idea if the next session is going to be streamed or how I'm recording it or what, because we're in person. We're going to roll real math rocks.
Yay!
Should be fun. All right. Good night, internet.
Bye, internet.